Well, you just heard the announcer, man. 12 days away from the beginning of the college football season. Next week at this time, we will be kicking off game week. Granted, Auburn and Alabama not playing or UAB, but we're a step closer to the season finally being here.
I told my wife this morning, I said, babe, it's last week before it all starts. We say our goodbyes.
This last Friday night was my last Friday night without something to do on a Friday evening.
Yep.
I got a jamboree coming up this Friday night, and then the next week it starts. And we play 10 straight weeks.
Did you do anything Friday night that it would be uncharacteristic for you? Like, you know what? I'm going to try it this Friday night. No, they have a free Friday night.
No, I didn't. It was interesting because my wife and her cousin and a good friend of hers from college, they went out to dinner and kind of hung out. But I just hung out at the house since that was going to be my last Friday night to do so.
I played dominoes for the first time in my life this weekend.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you win?
Oh, I love dominoes.
Well, we made a run to Target, and my wife found some in the living section that looked nice in a little wooden box and had little gold dominoes. And they were kind of hard to see. I had to put on my readers, but I like dominoes.
It's fun, yeah.
It's fun.
Before you know it, you'll be playing backgammon.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had seen a group of older gentlemen playing dominoes when we went down to Miami. I was getting a Cuban sandwich, and they were all sitting out there. It was totally a stereotype of how you would think.
You going to join a bridge club soon?
No, I've always associated bridge for women. I don't know why. My grandmother played bridge. She was pretty serious about it. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Monday.
All right. Well, we had scrimmages. We had Auburn on Friday. Not a lot of news was making its way to the media on Friday before we signed off. So let's start there with the Auburn Tigers. Halfway now officially through fall camp. They've had 10 practices. They have 20. So they're halfway through. They had their first scrimmage. Defense ruled the day on Friday. So if you're looking for a lot of offensive firepower in that scrimmage, it did not happen. Auburn's group of edge rushers, a very good afternoon. The positive for the offense was there was some glimpses of some explosiveness from the wide receivers, so that was good. The kicking game continues to be just spot on. That was an area of concern last year because of some injuries and sickness, but this year they have had a really good fall camp. We will talk to Jason Caldwell. He will break it down even further for us coming up at the bottom of the hour. Auburn practiced yesterday. They took Saturday off the day after the scrimmage. So scrimmage number 2 will be this Friday. And then their final scrimmage of the fall camp will be August the 22nd. So Thursday was a really good day. Jackson Arnold had a tremendous afternoon. Not saying they had a terrible day, but the defense ruled the scrimmage on Friday morning.
I guess that's good, and it's hard without knowing the particulars of who was in there, who wasn't. But if there was a question mark back in the spring, it would have been the defensive line for Auburn and who was going to be there, not necessarily at edge. We know about the offensive line. Roster-wise, it's the best that they've had there in a little bit. So I guess you feel good about that if you're Auburn.
Yeah. Keldrick Falk continues to be that dude on the defense, which is no big surprise. SEC preseason defender. So we will continue to follow that and what the offense. They're practicing later this afternoon, and the offensive coaches are going to be made available to the media. So it'll be very fascinating because Hugh Freeze did not speak to the media after the scrimmage. Offensive coaches will be later this afternoon around 5 o'clock. So we'll get to see what they have to say, how they break down the offensive performance on Friday. Auburn did get some good news late on Friday afternoon. 4-star wide receiver Jace Matthews, he commits to Auburn. The 6'2" wideout from Leakesville, Mississippi, rated as the number 9 wide receiver in the nation, according to On3. On3 now has Auburn at number 37 in recruiting. 247, they have a different formula. They say Auburn is 54th in recruiting. So subscribe to whichever one.
So Auburn's 37th in recruiting is what I just
we were used to this, guys. During the election, we saw political polls that were out there.
Very different.
Very different. Don't know how they tabulate them.
A lot of different quotients.
Go with the one that fits your narrative the best. So if you're an Auburn fan, point to 37.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a naysayer, point to a higher number.
If you're Conrad, he's going to say 54.
Well, yeah. And then he'll add a few.
I thought they were 70th.
See?
They were 70th.
See what he's doing?
According to 247, they were 70th before they got that wide receiver.
If you add them together, they're 91st. Isn't that how that works?
Yes.
And then divided by 2. Now,
Yes.
45.5.
Been reading a lot of positive things about some things down the pike in the pipeline for Auburn,
Seeing that
including
too.
a potential 5-star cornerback. So
Maybe a flip of a very talented, committed running back right now
Yeah.
is some of the smoke that's out there.
So,
But
yeah.
Ronnie Sanders told us last week when he joined the show, he expects Auburn finish in the top 15.
So well on their way with Chase Matthews. Speaking of Auburn, I did see this over the weekend, wanted to pass this along. We will be very soon start concentrating on that Baylor game. Baylor's number 2 running back, it was announced over the weekend that he suffered a season-ending injury to his foot. His name is Dawson Pendergrass. The junior running back was the team's second leading rusher in 2024. He rushed for 686 yards, 6 touchdowns on just 121 carries. Pendergrass also caught 11 passes for 103 yards and 1 touchdown. In his 2 years at Baylor, Pendergrass also rushed for over 100 yards in 3 separate games. So from a depth perspective, that's a big loss for Baylor. Their number 2 running back out for the season. Now, they got plenty of time in fall camp to find somebody else that will be able to carry the ball, but you got an individual that was obviously someone that they counted on and knows the system the last couple of years, and he will not be there for the Auburn game.
Now, you hate it for the young man, but maybe that's good news for Auburn. I don't know. Texas, they had a lot of injuries at running back last year before the start of the season.
Didn't affect them a lot.
No, they seem to do all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think running back may be one of those positions, unless you're just decimated like a Texas was, and that's the only guy that has returning experience. That is one of those positions, I think, nowadays that, especially with the offenses, that maybe can be made up a little easier.
Well, and the good thing is if you're Baylor is you still have your guy that ran for over 1,000 yards and 6 yards a carry last year coming back. So that certainly helps you out. But, yeah, from a depth standpoint, hurts.
Alabama, meanwhile, they scrimmaged on Saturday, got plenty of really good intel of what took place inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. But let's hear from the head man. Kalen DeBoer met with the media. This was his assessment after scrimmage number 1.
A good scrimmage for the guys. I say it seems like every time, but I felt good about the back and forth. There was times the offense moved the ball, especially early up the field, and defense did a nice job anchoring down as the scrimmage went along. And we got into some situations at the end, some end of game stuff that I think is really important. You know, things that we're able to do much more and be comfortable repping those things. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but that's why we practice, and got some end of the game situations in there at the end too. So. Just kind of last second stuff, 7 seconds and last play of the game type thing.
That was Kalen DeBoer on Saturday after scrimmage number 1. The people that I talked to in Tuscaloosa, they told me that no question Ty Simpson is QB1. Don't know why we're waiting so long to make that announcement. Kalen DeBoer said it's going to be after scrimmage number 2. But hands down, he is QB1 from the people that I talked to and watched the scrimmage. Simpson was very good, had a good afternoon. Keelan Russell is the future. I mean, he had a really good day, but he is the future moving forward. Just like I know Auburn folks will say Deuce Knight obviously is the future of that program. Williams and Horton, very good scrimmage. Those two are going to be a dynamic duo at the wide receiver. Don't forget, you got Jeremy Bernard. You also got Rico Scott. But I was told that Williams and Horton had a very good scrimmage. Jam Miller and freshman Kevin Riley, remember that name. Now, Kevin Riley, I remember watching him for a number of years. He played at Tuscaloosa County. He's a Northport kid. And he was one of those late adds to the Alabama recruiting class a couple of years ago. He's a really good running back, really good. And he and Jam Miller had a really good scrimmage on Saturday. So Kevin Riley from Northport's Tuscaloosa County High School had a very good showing. Offensive line, a solid day. They held their own against the defensive line. Matter of fact, I was told the first half of the practice, the defensive line was getting no push whatsoever against Alabama's offensive line. Now, that kind of changed in the second half of the scrimmage. The defensive line has started getting a little bit more penetration during the scrimmage. Linebackers, DBs, had a good day. No turnovers in the scrimmage. Not a one. Now, that's either really good for the offense or really bad for the defense, Langem. I'm not really sure because your defense is not creating turnovers.
Yeah.
But the offense is not turning the ball over.
Half empty, half full, I guess.
Yeah.
I saw Conrad's reaction, though, at the very beginning of that clip when DeBoer was talking about situationally the last 7 seconds, and I'm thinking, oh, great. Bunch of nail-biter games for Conrad this year.
Based on what we hear about the defensive line, Alabama's going to have to score 50 every game to be able to win.
They started the second half of the scrimmage. The first half of the scrimmage, the information I was getting was.
Let me spread lies, Pat.
Okay. Whatever.
We've had teams that were not good on defense win national championships,
Yeah,
Conrad.
there's no doubt.
It's fine.
I'm just thinking LSU a couple of years ago.
LSU in 2019,
That's a good point.
right? That wasn't the Chicago Bears on defense.
No, that's fair.
Now,
Very
DeBoer
fair.
mentioned during his press conference afterwards, and he just, in a conversation, not that he was trying to keep it like it was a secret, but he pointed out that in the whole fall camp, they've only had 3 turnovers. So once again, is that the offense is
Defense
is
is
being
bad,
so
man.
efficient,
Defense
or the
is bad.
defense just could not put a hat on the ball and cause a turnover? I don't know.
Are they tackling?
Thudding? I don't know.
Staying up, not going to the ground?
Not really sure.
I will say, based on what you got out of the quarterback position last year, I'll take the no turnovers in practice. I'll take that.
I feel like you had a surplus from last year.
Yeah.
Now, offensive lineman Jaden Roberts and defensive lineman James Smith did not participate due to injuries in the scrimmage. So,
One scrimmage in, though, for both schools.
Relatively healthy.
It's going to be a great year.
Yep.
But relatively healthy is what I was going to say.
no practice for Alabama. We will detail a little bit further what took place after scrimmage number 1 with Nick Kelly from AL.com. He'll join us in the 12 o'clock hour. We're also anticipating coming up at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, the AP preseason top 25 poll is due out. So we will get an opportunity to kind of compare and contrast how the coaches, how they voted about a week ago, and where the AP voters have coming up at 11.
Got to ask the question, where's Illinois going to be?
That is so interesting that you said that, because one of the AP voters, I was doing a little research this morning.
Oh, did they leak the poll or their vote?
There's some AP voters have released who they're voting for.
McMurphy will drop that 5 minutes for it.
So there's 65 voters representing all 50 states. So some states have multiple voters. John Wilner from the Mercury News, right outside of San Francisco, he released his top 25 ballot this morning. Clemson number 1, Penn State 2, Texas 3, Notre Dame 4, Ohio State 5. This is the one that got my attention. At number 6, Florida. Number 7, Oregon. Number 8, Georgia. Number 9, Illinois. Number 10, Alabama.
I like this guy.
John's been through a lot the last few years with the Pac-12.
A lot of realignment.
Yeah, he was boots on the ground for the whole Pac-12 thing and seemed like a very passionate Pac-12 guy who covered that conference for a long time. Clemson at 1, I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't have a problem if he had him at number 5. Florida coming in at number 6 gives me pause. And Illinois at 9 is just no.
So I reached out to another AP voter that I knew, which is Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier. And I said, hey, Scott, if you don't want to tell me, because all of this will be available at 11 o'clock. It is all public record. That's the way the AP does things. I said, if you don't want me to talk about it, or if you don't want to give me your top 25 ballot, I understand. I respect that. He said, sure, man. Here, have at it. His top 25 AP poll, Texas, Clemson, Penn State, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, Oregon, LSU, Miami. And I'm looking down here. He has Florida at 20.
What about Illinois?
15. So
If I had to pick between the two and they said you have to adopt one as your own, I would take Scott Hamilton's.
Oh, he's definitely in the Southeastern Conference footprint. He follows South Carolina and Clemson on a daily basis. So we'll see how the rest of the 65 voters, how they convalesce and come together, and they release that coming up at 11 o'clock.
Did he have Auburn in his top 25?
He did not.
Okay. Did he have Baylor?
He did not. His final 5, it was Texas Tech at 21, Ole Miss 22, Louisville 23, Tennessee 24, A&M 25.
Okay.
That was his final grouping.
Don't hate that final grouping.
Let me see what John Wilner had.
It sounds like Scott actually tried.
Matt Moscona will have to do an emergency podcast because they got LSU at 12.
Ooh.
Miami 13, Oklahoma 14. Just going down the list. Nebraska at 18, according to John Wilner.
Thanks, John. He usually ranks Nebraska pretty high.
South Carolina 20. Michigan 24. FSU 25.
All right, John.
John Wilner has the Seminoles coming in at number 25. So it's a top 25 battle at Doak Campbell. Number 10, Alabama.
Don't drink and vote,
versus
John.
number 25, Florida State.
He just knows something we don't know.
That's my favorite poll.
Also about Florida, he's got a beat on these Florida teams. Florida number 6, FSU 25.
Yeah, this is what he said about Florida.
He's got a source.
He says this ultra bright forecast will be proven correct or deeply flawed by the middle of October after the Gators finish 4 games in 5 weeks against LSU, Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M. Much depends on quarterback DJ Lagway producing the breakthrough season that many, including John Wilner, expect.
It's almost like he was on a plane. He's sitting there, and they're like, "Hey, you got to put all your stuff away. Put it in airplane mode." And he's like, "Oh, I've got to finish this poll. I got to send it in." And he just raced through.
See, I was thinking you were going like free drink voucher, and he didn't realize that when you're at that elevation, one beer can start to scramble the eggs a little bit.
I was
up
giving
there.
you the benefit of the doubt, but yes, I'm leaning now towards John was obliterated when he filled out his ballot.
So the AP Top 25 preseason poll will be out at 11.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at train.com.
Well, it didn't take long, but an ACC network analyst said over the weekend he's ready to get back in coaching. We'll tell you who it is and what he said next. It is 10:21. This is Reaction Monday. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. Is that old tree leaning a little bit too close to your house? Don't wait for the next storm to make that decision for you. Call Golston Tree Service at 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup. Licensed, insured, ready to handle any job, big or small. Call Golston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. And don't forget about their 24-hour emergency tree service. That number again, 205-337-4443. Well, it didn't take long, but speaking on the podcast Trials and Triumph with Freddie Stevenson, former Florida State and former Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher says he's enjoying time with his family since leaving Texas A&M. But he pointed out that his track record as a head coach prior to how things ended in College Station, and said that he has enough fuel in the tank ready to get back in the business.
If the right situation comes along and it's right, I'm still 59. I'm still in great shape. I'm healthy. You know, I've had success everywhere we've ever been. We know at the end at A&M, it's unfortunate, but we also had the highest ranked team they ever had there in 2020. That's the last one they've had in third. Well, we play with our quarterbacks got hurt. We play with first team and third team, and not only did they play good, it's just hard to get play calling and get guys around, and we play with a little inconsistency, and we didn't pan out like we needed to, but. I still, the way the game is, and yes, I still do, because I still love it. I never thought it was a job, and I loved it, and I think the right, be able to do it, I would. I mean, now I've been fortunate. I've won 72% of my games, won 80% of my playoff games, been fortunate to win a national championship as a head coach, as assistant, but so many I miss the relationships and the players. Yep. But to ask you that, yeah, I would be very interested in still doing it, because I think I still got a lot to give, and I'd like to get back out there. I really would.
I like these selective statistical categories of I've won 80% of my playoff games. How many playoff games did Texas A&M play in?
I don't remember any.
That's what I thought.
Also, how does that work? Now, he's played in 2 playoff games at Florida State. He won the national championship game, and then he lost in the first round of the playoff the next year.
The closest Texas A&M came to a college football playoff was the pandemic year, right? Where they wanted to meet Ohio State. Kellen Mond said he wanted to meet Ohio State in the parking lot.
Where they finished number 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they got dog walked by Alabama, yeah.
I'm looking at coaches' hot seat rankings right now and just programs that could be looking for a coach. If we start in the SEC, could you see him in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
I could too. Would you say foregone conclusion because he was that name that was always there if Hugh Freeze was gone at Auburn? This was a lot easier answer 5 years ago.
Yes, possibly. I don't think he would be one of the top choices, but I do think that would be a conversation.
What about a job like Cincinnati?
I don't know if he would do that.
If he wants to get back in it, I think he would take any of those jobs.
You think so?
Absolutely.
He said it's got to be the right opportunity. They all say that. Does he just want to coach? How desperate is he to just get back in it and I'll take any job? I'll take a job with a lot of headaches and not much support, going from what he had in College Station to I want to deal with this every day for $1.5 to $2 million a year.
Well, I also think he's betting on the potential of multiple SEC jobs being open. So he lands the number 1 recruiting class back in 2021.
Heck of a class.
He was the preseason number 1 team in America. A&M struggles to a 5-7 record. They miss a bowl game entirely in 2022. The last 2 seasons at Texas A&M, he went 11-11. He was 6-9 in the SEC in his last 2 years at Texas A&M with that recruiting class. And you think back to 2006 when UAB came close to hiring Jimbo Fisher, and then the Board of Trustees vetoed him getting the job on the South Side in Birmingham. How that would have changed history, who knows? How long he would have stayed at UAB. Would the Florida State job been given him the opportunity to be coach in waiting when Coach Bobby Bowden was deciding to step down and retire?
Yeah. But if he gets the job in 2006 at UAB, does Chizik ever get the Auburn job, and does he get hired by Auburn?
True. And then does Chizik bring Cam Newton and Gus Malzahn.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, this is fascinating how all of this could have happened.
Iowa State wins a national title with Gus Malzahn and Cam Newton.
Still see
That'd have been
Cam in
something.
Ames, Iowa. Don't see that.
He would have gone to Mississippi State, right?
Dan Mullen has a national
That's right.
championship.
There you go. There we go. I like Iowa State more, though.
It is fun, kind of fun to go back and like all of the all the
what
dominoes
ifs.
that would have fell.
Yep, the Board of Trustees said, nope, not going to let that happen. They were ready for UAB's program to be finished off anyway, about 10 years earlier than they took it to the pasture.
Then
when
out
Bill
of the
Clark was
dark, one high school coach saw
Yep.
the light. He had a vision. Bill Clark brought championships.
So not only did Jimbo Fisher say he wants back in the game, but John Gruden speaking to the Georgia football team over the weekend. We all remember Gruden, the former NFL coach who resigned in 2021 amid the controversy over offensive emails. He has made it perfectly clear that he is ready himself to get back in the game.
The only reason I really came here is I want to coach again. I'm being honest with you. I do not either. I want to coach again. I'd die to coach in the SEC. I would love it. I would love it.
All right, so it looks like Jimbo Fisher and John Gruden are going to be fighting over they're going to be on the first names on every coaching hot list board if an SEC school decides to depart.
I mean, call me crazy. I'd hire John Gruden before I hired Jimbo Fisher.
I was about to ask, who's more likable? I know on this show, but for the masses, would it be Jimbo or would it be John?
I think John Gruden.
Well, John Gruden would win the press conference easily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his enthusiasm based on him in recruiting homes and things like that. He knows how to put together a roster in the NFL. He knows about salary cap. He knows how to handle that side of the business.
See, that's who I like at Arkansas. Coach Cal and John Gruden.
Huh.
That would be.
You'll make some headlines.
I mean, I know the people at Tennessee, that's been the rumor galore for about 10 years.
Yeah, it has.
Didn't it get close one time?
Every single time, it's because John Gruden's wife was a Tennessee cheerleader or something.
Yeah, that was, I have no idea. I've never taken the time to go and actually see if she was.
Every single rumor's, oh, did you see Coach Gruden? He was at Calhoun's above the river there in Knoxville. He was meeting with big alums. He's going to be the guy. It never came to fruition. Instead, they were going after Greg Schiano.
Cool.
And people like that.
They love that. I'd love to see Gruden in the SEC.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Coming up next on Three Man Front, we'll go down to the plains of Auburn, talk to Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover, get his thoughts on the Auburn scrimmage from Friday, how fall camp is looking. That on a Reaction Monday, Jox 94.5. It is 10:33 on this Reaction Monday. Welcome back in. This is three-man front. Pat, Molly, Conrad, Landrum with you until 2 o'clock. We hope to catch up with Jason Caldwell in just a couple of minutes from Auburn Undercover. In the 12 o'clock hour, we will talk to Nick Kelly from AL.com. We're also waiting at the top of the hour, the Associated Press preseason top 25 poll. That will be out, in which 65 voters across our great land has voted and submitted votes. And we'll see where Alabama and Auburn, where they rank in the polls.
Well, school is back in for most, but the summer weather, the warm weather, it's still here. And what does that mean? Stinging, biting insects. Hopefully not in your home or your yard, but let's be honest, some of you out there, you're dealing with this. You don't have to deal with this any longer. You can do what I did over 3.5 years ago and call our friends at Stark Exterminators, a company that's been family-owned for over 61 years. It's a company that you can certainly trust, and you're going to know it. The moment one of their team members comes to your home or your place of business, introduces themselves, always professional and courteous, and they're going to go inside of your home or your place of business, outside. They're going to walk the perimeter. They're going to inspect places you never even thought about. They're going to take care of any existing issues that you have with those pests, but also they're going to look for maybe some problems that could arise down the road. Stark Exterminators. Give them a call today, 855-STARK now, or go to starkexterminators.com. The free home or business pest inspection is available. Once again, 855-STARK now, or go to starkexterminators.com. And when you do so, always tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
So earlier this morning, we posted, as we do each and every morning, a poll question, Molly, and it has to do with the efficiency of quarterbacks potentially in the SEC.
Yeah, which of these SEC quarterbacks will have the most TDs, pass and rush, this season? Will it be Taylor Green from Arkansas, Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, or Jackson Arnold from Auburn? And right now winning with almost 60% of the votes, Lenore Sellers. Coming in next is Jackson Arnold with about 23%. Next is Diego Pavia with about 12%, and Taylor Green with only 7%.
Interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, last year, Peyton Thorne had 21 passing touchdowns, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he had 23 total touchdowns last year. And I believe Taylor Green ended up with like 27 maybe touchdowns overall last year. So so that's just putting it in perspective. If we believe that Jackson Arnold will eclipse the 23 touchdown plateau that Peyton Thorne had last year. Diego Pavia, I think he had 8 rushing touchdowns and I think 18 or 19 passing touchdowns. So I think he was like 27 or 28 total touchdowns. So be very interesting. But our audience definitely believes, Conrad, that Lenore Sellers is going to have that type of season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the easy pick right there in terms of just who people think is going to be the best quarterback in the SEC. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see Lenore Sellers. If he's better than last year, he absolutely should be at the top of that list. But I think we all know, right, Jackson Arnold, the ceiling in that Auburn offense is very high. Obviously, if Taylor Green's more consistent, you know, that's a guy that maybe, you know, SEC Mike saying he's the 4th best quarterback in the conference, you know, maybe that's something that comes to fruition this year. So there's a lot of upside there on that list. But, yeah, Lenore Sellers at the top for a very good reason, I think.
Yeah, because Lenore's had 7 rushing touchdowns last year. So I think a lot of people believe that they're going to probably utilize him a little bit more running the football.
I'll say no Rocket Sanders, so
yeah,
going to need a little more help
than what they did last year. Going around the Southeastern Conference over the weekend, some scrimmage notes from other conference opponents for Alabama and Auburn. First, let's start with LSU. Garrett Nussmeier was the big story towards the end of the week. He had a sleeve on his left leg, and while he went through all the drills on 11 on 11, he did not appear 100% during the scrimmage. At times, he was favoring his leg, and it looks like he was a bit timid. Nussmeier looked hesitant, but he still made some good throws on some long passes. You're going to see a theme developing all across these first scrimmages. Defense ruled the day. According to sources watching the LSU scrimmage, the defensive line dominated, and the secondary had a very good day. So that was a report out of LSU. Meanwhile, down in Austin, Texas, one source told Horns 247 the defensive line is the real deal. There was a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks, so much so that they kind of let it play it out sometimes. The front 7 dominated. Arch Manning did have a touchdown pass, but a lot of his throws, they were high And the reason why is because the defensive line was causing so much problems in the backfield that he was rushing his throws. I will tell you that former Saraland quarterback KJ Lacey, he scrambled for a touchdown late in the scrimmage. So a lot of positive things about KJ Lacey from the Horns scrimmage. Meanwhile, in Gainesville, Florida, the Gators, they scrimmaged in the swamp. Sophomore quarterback DJ Lagway did not take part in the scrimmage, but he did participate in the 7-on-7 drills. In his place, Harrison Bailey, the senior, the Louisville grad transfer, was with the first team. The fact that Lagway did not play, it was difficult to get a true gauge, according to those watching the scrimmage, on how good the Florida offense could be. Georgia, between the hedges, Gunnar Stockton, Ryan Puglisi looked good on the scrimmage. Stockton ended the day on a high note with a connecting pass with London Humphreys for about a 50-yard gain. Running backs Chauncey Bowens and Roderick Robinson made strong impressions in the scrimmage. They continue to think that the Bulldogs are sitting pretty in terms of their running back depth. Their defensive line, very disruptive. There are signs, according to people that watch the scrimmage, that this group could be difference makers in regards to the Georgia season. But of course, Kirby being Kirby, he was not happy on how the defense tackled. And guess how they ended practice? They all ran.
He's still got some old school approaches, right?
Yeah, he
Do
sure
we ever
does.
question, though, under Kirby Smart, if I never questioned the defense of Georgia.
No, not at all. Never.
They're always going to have guys up front
You
that
can
are,
question
that are
Mike
disruptive.
Bobo, but
They're
not the
always
defense.
going to have an All-American, in my eyes, linebacker.
Yep.
You're good there.
All right, coming up next, we will go to Auburn, and we'll talk to Jason Caldwell. He joins us next on Three Man Front.
10:43, three-man front. We inch closer to the start of the college football season. One scrimmage in the books in Tuscaloosa, also on the plains of Auburn, and a gentleman who has his finger on the pulse of everything going on down at Auburn is our friend Jason Caldwell, auburnundercover.com. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Jason, how are you this Monday?
I'm good, guys. What about y'all?
We're doing great. Let's start back with the news that came out on the recruiting front last Friday. Auburn needed a big-time commitment, at least from the optics of it, for Hugh Freeze maybe anyways, and they got one. You get the number 2, wide receiver in the country, Jace Matthews, a kid from just over in the state of Mississippi. Tell us about Jace Matthews for our listeners who don't know.
Yeah, athletic guy. I really – the thing that probably jumps out to me more than anything is just his ability to catch the football in traffic. Like, he's a guy that can go up and make plays and strong hands. And so, look at him. He's athletic. He can run. He can do all that stuff. But it feels like he's kind of a true receiver. And so, you look at this roster and the potential of it at wide receiver now. Eric Singleton is a junior, but could be a draft guy. Horatio Fields is a senior. Everybody else has eligibility remaining. So this should be another deep group of wide receivers next year. And he's a guy that you feel like has a chance to come into play early.
All right, Jason, let's talk about what took place on Friday morning. All indications from y'all's reporting at Auburn Undercover that the defense had a very, very good day. Keldrick Falk and the rest of the guys, it looks like that they had a really good day. What can you tell us about the Friday scrimmage?
Yeah, just from getting some stuff from inside and talking to people, I think the defense continues to perform really well. And I don't think it's necessarily that the offense isn't playing great. I just think the defense right now is ahead of where they are. And that's, like I said, from doing this for a long time, talking to coaches, that's where they usually are at the beginning. The defense should be ahead of that offense. And that kind of get worrisome if it's not. But, now you start to kind of maybe start to fine-tune the offense a little bit moving forward. And so I think you look at them going, okay, now you start to maybe focus in on what you want to do with certain players. Right now you're just kind of running stuff. And so you're installing and running it, and that defense gets a chance to see it a pretty good bit. So I think now you start to figure out, okay, how do we want to do things with this guy? What package is best for this group? All those things. You start to kind of focus on some of those things moving forward. But defensively, it's been, probably maybe the biggest surprise for me so far. My biggest question on this team was going to be interior defensive line and linebacker. So far, those guys have played pretty well. And so, to me, that's a pretty good sign for this team that those guys, from an athletic standpoint, I thought they had enough of that. Just wondered if they would be able to hold up. And it's early, and you haven't played 7 or 8 games in a row and all those things, but so far that group's looked pretty good.
Jackson Arnold, we're getting reports from you guys and people who were texting on Thursday before the scrimmage that Jackson Arnold might have been having his best day. What are you hearing? What have you been able to observe from the Auburn quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job of just not pressing the issue. I think that's been the key. Something I talked about with this team is like I feel like for the first time in a long time, this is an Auburn team that you don't feel like you have to play perfect to win against a good team. And I think that's been the case the last few years. You felt like we got to play perfect and you got to press the issue and you got to go make plays. I think he's a guy that Hugh Freeze has mentioned it, said, look, just make the plays that's there to be made. And I think it kind of reminds me of watching Scotty Scheffler play golf, where you go, like, it doesn't have to be spectacular. Just don't make the big mistake. And that's what he doesn't do. That's the thing. I think you looked last year and you went, man, you had the big turnover game against Cal. You had more against Arkansas. You had the killer turnover late against Oklahoma. And you look and go, other than that, like, those things were huge. The rest of the season played pretty good, but because of those things, it wasn't enough to overcome. And so this team feels like you got a chance to overcome some mistakes, just not the catastrophic one. And I think Jackson Arnold's done a good job of just, hey, keep it between the lines and get the ball in the hands of your playmakers.
Jason, I know it sounds like it's been a very good camp, the first 10 practices of the 20 for the fall. But if you could just point out maybe one on the offensive side and one on the defensive side that maybe has just really kind of come out of nowhere, kind of the surprise guy that all of a sudden you're hearing a lot on the offensive side and the defensive side that maybe you were not anticipating before fall camp started?
Yeah, there's a bunch on defense. That's the thing. So you play more guys on that side of the ball anyway. So you normally hear more names over there. I'll give a couple of guys on defense. Morris Williams is one, freshman last year. That was a 5-star guy, and you go, man, when does the light bulb come on? And feels like he's done some of that for a guy like a Morris Williams. The other one is Xavier Atkins, the LSU linebacker transfer. I think he's had a really good camp. He's a guy that's really decisive and down the hill. So those are a couple of guys on defense. Offensively, it's probably been Omar Mapson, true freshman running back from here in Auburn High School that was actually an early high school graduate. So he should still be a senior in high school. Graduated early, got to Auburn this summer, 5'9", 213. So he's a rock back there, big kid, physical, can run. So probably been the bigger surprise on offense has been the true freshman running back, getting some work and turning some heads.
Jason Caldwell inside the Auburn Tigers, Auburn Undercover, joining us here on Three Man Front, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I know it's a touchy subject, but we have to address it. Saw the reports that Malcolm Simmons, talented Auburn wide receiver, his legal team had planned to file for a help me out here.
Youthful offender
status. What can you tell us? I know it's foolish to try to speculate on a situation like this, especially with legal proceedings set to take place. But what does your gut and people you talk to, just kind of observing the situation, tell you about maybe the likelihood that we see him this season?
Yeah, I think from folks I've talked to, and I actually had a chance to speak to his lawyer, and just kind of some background stuff when I wrote a story originally. And then I think they feel like that he'll play football again. I think they feel like this is one of those things where I think youthful offender was basically to go, look, this is involving a small child is involved with him and the girlfriend, and so I think they just said, look, we want this to be out of the public eye as much as possible, and so that was really the reason for youthful offender. I think they still feel like that things will go their way when the dust settles on this one. We'll see. I think it's going to come down to, okay, does the DA feel like they have do they feel they have enough to present it and go forward and moving forward with a trial, all those things. I think that's kind of the next step in this one, but should hear something maybe today on whether that will be granted and then what it looks like moving forward. And so I think that's the next step in this one.
Jason, when we talked to you in Atlanta, we pointed out the first 5 games on the Auburn schedule, how crucial that is. Just like it was last year, it kind of set the tone for the rest of the season, or at least the second half of the season. Has your line of thinking changed at all, especially after hearing the positive reviews of the stuff that's going on in fall camp right now? Is those 5 games is still a pinnacle part of what Auburn could potentially be this year?
Yeah, I think it's still, that kind of sets the tone. And no matter who you're playing, really, you want to get off to a good start, and so I thought that was one of the biggest hindrances last year. Is he had all those home games and he dropped a couple of them, and that was a big deal knowing what was still to come on the road. This year, you go on the road, and if you can grab a couple of those, then you got more home games in that second half, so you feel like, okay, that sets you up for success. And one of the things I've talked about, I did one of my 2-minute videos on recently was that the thing I have to remember, and I have to do it even though I think about it all the time, but I think fans have to remember too, is that college football now is, and it's not quite NFL, but is more NFL-like in that we used to think about it and you go, well, you lose to Baylor, the season's over with. That's in our mindset, that's the way college football's always been. If you lost a game, that was it. Well, that's not the case anymore. You look in the SEC now and you go, man, if you're a 9-3 team in this league, you got a great shot to be in the playoffs. 10-2, you're in for sure. So you start thinking about going like, you can lose 2 games playing in the Southeastern Conference and still be okay. And so I think from that perspective, I think it's important to realize that, man, if you play well at Baylor and lose, the season's not over with. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last week in week 2 and played for a national championship. So I think yeah, they're all important, but I do think setting the tone early with that 5-game stretch is going to be a big deal.
Jason, being around this program as long as you have, and you know when you can kind of read coaches just from talking to them, not necessarily what they say, but how they carry themselves. In the first 2 seasons, based on what you observed from Hugh Freeze and his staff, then to what you have seen so far this season here in the offseason leading up until the first game, have you been able to sense a difference in their demeanors and maybe sensing some of that confidence that's coming through?
I think it's part of what I mentioned earlier. I do think you can feel it feels different when you feel like you don't have to be perfect. And that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to go into a game going, well, we got to be perfect to have a chance. And you felt like that probably 4 times, maybe more than that 2 years ago. But last year, you go to Georgia and Alabama, you got to be perfect. Not necessarily Texas A&M, but you start thinking about some of these other games and go, we can't afford too many mistakes if you want to win that game. And so I think all of a sudden you feel like, man, you can go into games now and you can overcome a mistake and win. And so I think that in itself gives you more confidence when you look out there and you go, we're more talented than we've been since we've been here. So I think that in itself gives you a different feeling going into a season.
Always great stuff. Jason Caldwell covers the Auburn Tigers, does a masterful job in doing so. AuburnUndercover.com, part of the 247 Sports Network, at ITAT Jason there on X. Jason, always appreciate your time, and we know you're busy this time of year, but you're so informative. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jason Caldwell joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
You know, since 1936, the Associated Press, they have released a preseason top 25 poll. We're about to see in about 5 minutes where they have the Alabama Crimson Tide or the Auburn Tigers. If they were good enough to be in the top 25, we anticipate Alabama most certainly will, but will Auburn crack the top 25 according to the AP preseason poll? All that is straight ahead. 12 o'clock hour, Nick Kelly from AL.com. Thanks for tuning us in. It's Reaction Monday on Jox. Well, we've been anticipating this all morning long. It is out. I can tell you the preseason AP top 10. Coming in at number 10, Miami. Number 9, LSU. 8, Alabama. 7, Oregon, who got 1 first-place vote. Notre Dame at 6. Georgia at 5. Clemson at 4. They got 4 first-place votes. Ohio State is number 3 with 11 first-place votes. The number 2 team in America, according to the Associated Press preseason top 10, is the Penn State Nittany Lions with 23 first-place votes, just beating out Penn State with 25 first-place votes, the Texas Longhorns. So it's a clean sweep of the Texas Longhorns in both of the major polls. They're preseason number 1.
Yep. Not a whole lot of big surprises there. Actually, there's none that I think are just egregious in the top 10.
Auburn did not make the top 25.
No. Nor did Baylor. If we're just looking at that first matchup.
Nor did Illinois. I'm just kidding. They're in there.
Illinois is at 12.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that so Ole Miss, that's kind of reflective of one of the ballots that you had earlier. They come in at 21. Tennessee at 24. OU at 18, A&M at 19, but Florida's at 15.
Auburn would be 37th based on the votes.
And Baylor would be 28th. And Nebraska would be 34th.
Woo!
So Nebraska would be sandwiched in between Baylor, Auburn's first opponent, and Auburn.
I just like that we're included in something.
Yes.
Thank you.
I do think it's interesting that Oklahoma is 18 in the AP poll and they were 26 in the coaches poll. It's a bit of not that it matters, but just interesting disparity.
It's fun to talk about. I just never mind. I'll keep that to myself. Interesting. It's always entertaining.
I feel like you disagree with something.
No, how can you disagree with this? I mean,
it's a guess. It's a guessing game.
It's a guess. And you go through them. If you're asked to fill out poll, it gets really tough.
John Wilner was only off 9 spots on his Florida prediction. It's not bad.
Not saying that you just start putting in teams to put in teams, but you cross-reference yourself a lot.
What's the difference in who you put 18 and 25?
None.
Not really a difference.
No. Does LSU come in at number 9? Does that change their season? No. Clemson at 4? No. Now, maybe perception of some of these teams, where if you had an Ole Miss that ran the table, but if they ran the table, would it really matter in the SEC? I'm just thinking of an Arizona State example from last year where the perception was preseason, this is supposed to be the next to last worst team in the Big 12, and then potentially becoming a hurdle when it became the College Football Playoff Committee selection time.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I'm a little surprised, not surprised in who's number 1 and 2, but they are so close.
Very close.
I mean, 5 total points separate Texas and Penn State. That's as close as they can get, just about.
If there's a team in the top 5 that you would rearrange their order or put them outside of the top 5, who would it be?
I just think out of those teams in the top 5, I would have Penn State 5th.
Yeah. But there's not one, I don't think, in this poll or this particular year that you can look and go, well, I think that they're way off. That team is going to.
No, if you told me any of those teams
year.
won the national championship at the end of the year, I'd go, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So it's interesting because Alabama is both 8 in the coaches' preseason top 25 and 8 in the Associated Press.
Ooh.
Hey, they moved up 9 spots from the last time they did an AP poll. I like that they leave the rankings from last year.
Yeah. Because that matters, especially this day in college football.
It really matters,
Yeah.
Benjamin. It really matters.
How many of those guys are still on the team?
Maybe that's what the number indicates.
Yeah.
9, that's how many players came back.
Yeah, so 7, 8, 9, and 10 are exactly, and 11, and 12, and 13, and 14. How about that? So 7 through 14 are exactly the same.
Copy and paste.
In the coaches poll, in the Associated Press poll. I have no idea when the AP ballot was due. How much did the coaches poll?
Did you have a bunch of people firing this in after the scrimmages on Saturday? And
I think they were due last week.
I was about to say, I feel like they probably done before that. But
Before the coaches poll was released?
No,
the
man,
AP
before before all the scrimmages. Over the
No,
weekend.
I'm convinced that a lot of these they looked at the coaches poll.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 7 identical if you didn't.
Let me copy your homework, but I'll change it just a little bit so the teacher doesn't notice.
Well, in the coaches poll, they voted Ohio State 2, AP they're 3. Them and Penn State are just flip-flopped.
Clemson was what, number 6 in the coaches poll, right?
Correct. They're number 4 in the AP poll. And by the way, we enjoy talking about it, but neither one of these polls has anything to do with the college football playoff.
No.
0.
Actually has nothing to do with the game.
This is random. Do you think, in terms of transparency, do you think it would help if you had a college football playoff poll that started before November, where you kind of got to see how they measure teams throughout the first 2 months of the season? Or do you think that really doesn't matter?
Listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like with the media days when Brett Yormark and all these other people, they don't want to have someone is going to have a poll. Heck, we would have a poll. I mean, the vacuum would be filled with something.
It didn't matter, Conrad, week to week last year.
No, it didn't.
A couple of years ago, remember Oregon? They kept sticking Oregon up there.
Ahead of a Washington team that had already beaten them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kept doing it, and then they...
Shocker, they lost to that same team again.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to do a correction there. But no, I don't think it'll help. Fun to look at, though, the perception of some of these teams. If there's anything that I can take away from all of the preseason polls is Kansas State is Kansas State. Nobody really knows about Kansas State, but you feel good about putting Kansas State somewhere in your top 20, closer to 20.
So
it's a good takeaway.
Someone just texted me. They wanted to know how accurate is the AP preseason poll versus the final AP top 25 poll. So I did a little quick research. The AP preseason poll has a 52% accuracy rating.
So if we're in grade school, that's an F.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That means it has correctly picked 65 of the 125 teams from start to finish. Last year, the AP Top 25 had 12 teams in the preseason poll that finished in the final AP Top 25. That's a 48% success rate. The highest mark in the last 5 years was back in 2023 when 17 of the 25 teams that was in the preseason finished in the top 25 at the end of the year. That is a 68% clip.
So it's safe to assume that roughly 10 of these teams in the top 25 will not be there at the end of the year.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Look around. Right now, look around. The team to your left, the team to your right. There's a good chance one or both of those teams will not be here when the season concludes.
The lowest percentage in the last 5 years was 2022, 40% accuracy. They had 10 that made the final top 25, 15 did not. So 15 teams did not make the top 25 at the season's end.
Well, 40% is a good percentage to have in some things, like shooting threes.
Great percentage.
You knock down 40% or above from behind the arc. That's good. Gets you noticed.
It's about the only thing I can think of where 40% is good.
Well, I mean, if you hit the lottery 40% of the time. I'd say
Well, then, yeah, you're yes, Landrum, you're doing quite well for yourself.
right.
And let's be honest, the AP poll has a better percentage than the SEC media poll.
Fair.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
I'm just saying.
Hello. Well, it was hard enough for me when we were doing, speaking of the SEC media poll, it was hard enough for me to rank like 6 through 11.
I was about to say, yeah, 5 or 6 through about 12 is tough. It's kind of a crapshoot.
I could tell you why I was convicted in putting those teams there, but you could turn around and tell me why you were, and I wouldn't get fighting mad over it.
No, you'd be like, yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, well,
Great point.
could see it happening that way too.
That's what makes this so much fun.
SMU at 16. Okay. Florida at 15 with the AP vote. Much different than where John Wilner had them.
Let's see how our friend Scott did. He had Texas, Clemson, Penn State, Georgia, Ohio State. That was his top 5.
Okay.
Okay, well, we got all the teams, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alabama 6, Notre Dame 7, Oregon 8, LSU 9, Miami 10.
Got all the teams
Teams
right.
right.
Well, it looks like from LSU through, let's see here, he's got LSU 9, Miami 10, Michigan 11, South Carolina 12, SMU 13. That's almost dead on, right? With the exception of South Carolina.
No,
I
he's-
think the AP had Arizona State at 11.
Oh,
yeah, SMU
Michigan.
at 16. Yeah, Michigan at 14 as opposed to, where'd you say, 11?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got Illinois at 15, so Illinois was 12 in the AP poll.
So with his ballot, you could put out plus or minus a 3-point, a 3-degree guarantee. He's within 3 on most of those that he didn't nail.
And again, kind of goes back to what you're saying. I think a lot of us agree on the teams that are deserving of being in the top 15 or 20. It's just, how do you scramble them up? But everyone's going to have the same teams.
Yeah.
It's just, where do you have them?
Also interesting, the August 30th meeting between Texas and Ohio State, it will be 1 versus 2, according to the AP, right?
Yes. Or no, 1 versus 3.
No, that's in the
1
coaches
versus
poll.
3.
Mhm.
That's in the coaches poll. Yeah. That would have been, if Ohio State would have come in at number 2, that would have been the first ever 1-2 meeting matchup in AP history the first week of the season.
So can we just use the coaches poll rankings on TV? Just so it looks better? Just put
So
the 1
I'm-
and 2 up?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm not sure about the coaches poll. So Brett McMurphy, what was that stat that he just gave?
So he just tweeted out, Vanderbilt remains the only power conference team that has never been ranked in a preseason AP top 25 poll.
Well, if there's ever a year to do it, it would have been this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it'll ever happen now.
No, just add that to the disrespect. Put that in the disrespect bag for Diego Pavia.
Yeah, they did not. They're not a part of the others receiving votes category either. So they would be. They're somewhere in the 50s,
Wait a second.
60s.
Wait, there's, I mean,
40s,
Landrum's going to
50s.
get earrings because they're going to be playing for national championship.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this bet?
I am, yes.
Oh.
Here are some schools that got votes to be in the top 25, and Vanderbilt did not. Liberty, Louisiana Lafayette, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Iowa, Duke, Florida State. Bulletin board material for Coach Lee.
How many votes did Florida State get?
They got 8. They are sandwiched between Memphis and Duke.
Okay.
So they would be they would be 40th. Top 40 matchup. 19 days away.
So
ACC. Oh, you're talking about that game. I was thinking ACC primetime for the other two that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Our ACC primetime.
So if
With
Florida,
Jimbo Fisher on the call.
So basically, if Florida State beats Alabama, that would be the equivalent of Memphis beating Alabama,
Correct.
according to the AP,
Correct.
or Duke.
Or Duke. But it would be better than losing to Vanderbilt again.
Where's Wisconsin? Did they receive?
They did not.
Wisconsin was a top 25 team last year when Alabama played them.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had.
That helped out the numbers at the end of the year until Alabama lost to Oklahoma.
A little sad that Chapel Bill also didn't get any votes.
North Carolina didn't get any.
Don't see him.
Just like his girlfriend on the beauty pageant.
They're going to be the Arizona State. Everyone's doubting them right now.
Yeah.
Just wait until they step on the field. Just wait. You've never seen a more unified group of players.
Well, one thing's for sure, based on
One
the information
heartbeat.
that I was given over the weekend, they have they feel very confident on the North Carolina folks paying a lot of money for their tickets.
Bill's looking good too.
Yeah. Looks like he needs to be wearing a man's ear.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Maybe
good look.
Jordan likes it. Like,
It's a good look for him.
she prefers him a little healthier.
Well, she might be jealous.
All right.
I can't argue because I guess potentially she could be.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I think that'd be weird. Pat, you got the picture that I sent you as I was out and about this weekend.
Yes.
That maybe you could do something with.
Yes. I'll see what I can.
The group will love it.
Yeah. I like how he sends it to me.
Yeah.
He wants me to fix it.
And that was in real time, too.
Yeah.
I was standing there. I can only imagine the people that were walking by.
When you
They're
were
like, why is he taking a picture of this?
Well, Artec Tractor in Jasper is having a sale on all of their fluids and filters from now until the end of September. This is on all oil filters and air filters, also all engine oil and hydraulic oil. That is 15% off those items. Locally owned specialists in mowers and tractors. Artec Tractor. You need to go to rtectractor.com and you need to check out everything that they can offer. You go by and see them just north of Jasper on Highway 5. I called Jeremy when I was in the market for a zero turn, and he was able to point me in the right direction. I got myself a Toro. They also have Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, also residential or commercial grade. More brands and better selection than those big box stores. So get by and see them just north of Jasper on Highway 5. That's rtectractor.com.
It is Reaction Monday here on 3-Man Front. We got your texts, we got your phone calls. A lot of you reacting to the AP poll that was just released for the college football season. We'll continue to discuss. It's 3-Man Front, and we are Jox.
So we've been discussing the preseason Associated Press poll that just came out at the top of the hour. Alabama's preseason number 8. Auburn did not qualify for a top 25 ranking. You know, remember in the offseason, especially when it came to media days, when the Big Ten, remember how they were boasting in the Big 12 about how deep their conferences were? Remember that? How deep and how great they were?
Yep.
Isn't it amazing that the SEC had 10 teams ranked in the preseason top 25? The Big Ten, 6. I guess all the talking points did not sway enough voters before the preseason top 25 came out. So the SEC, once again, being a deep league, remember what did Rhett Leslie say? It's not a very deep league.
Too top heavy.
No, it's not a deep league at all. Nothing to see here. ACC, man, we're deep. SEC, 10 teams in the top 25. Big Ten, 6.
Well, you can celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party. It's at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st, and the only way to go is by winning tickets. So to win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword SCORE and your full name to 205-834-9450. Once again, the keyword SCORE and your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily, and for more information, visit joxfm.com.
What do you think the excuse will be for the Big Ten when somebody asks that question, brings up that stat that you just
I'm
did?
sure somebody is like looking over the 65 pollsters across the country, and they're saying that it's SEC bias because there's more Southern voters than Rust Belt voters.
Did the poll that did not include certain Big Ten teams, are they going to make the argument they cannibalize themselves? Their metrics were so good and so even that they just canceled each other out? Is that what we're going to get? 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Don Don. Hey, Don Don.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
We're great. How are you?
Good. Hey, question. What did you, Pat? What did you say? Auburn came out at 38.
37th, I believe.
Well, that's kind of ironic because that's my recruiting ranking right now, there, my friend.
Do you have recruiting rankings, or are you talking about that's where On 3 has them?
No, I'm just saying that, hey, Pat's been giving us Auburn people, and especially me, about us being last in recruiting, and I just wanted to kind of throw a little barb and that we're not last no more.
Hey, how did your Cubs do this weekend in St. Louis, Don Don?
Woo!
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
He probably wasn't.
Yeah, you got me.
He probably wasn't going to say it, but you asked for it.
I did. I always do, don't I?
You do.
Well, no, anyway, guys, thank you for having me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw off your
Well,
talking points, Don Don. I just had to get that in.
Back to the script.
I know. I know. I mean, what are y'all going to do without me for 10 days?
I thought you were going to call us ship to shore. Landrum was going to give you his credit card, and you were going to call us on the captain's phone.
No. Actually, my friend, I'm going to try. Key West will not be an international call, so I'm going to call you from the beach, Key West.
Very nice. All right, so where's all the so I did not ask you this at Social Taco last week. So where are the ports of call during this trip?
Okay, Key West,
West.
Then Nassau, and I believe the third one is Freeport. But when we get back, we get to stay in New Orleans at Caesars or Harris for a night for free. So speaking of that, I need y'all's advice on something. And Pat, I'm not sure if you've looked at it lately. The Auburn Baylor line has switched back and forth, but now looked at it a few minutes ago. Auburn's 2.5.
Okay, so Auburn's back as a favorite.
Okay, and I got a question. I looked at the Alabama-Florida State line for FSU Day versus Conrad, and that's now gone up to 13.5.
Ooh, okay.
So does Conrad? Do you have to give him 13.5? You got to give him whatever the line is the week of the game?
Yeah, it's whatever. So 2 weeks from today, whatever the line is on that day, that's what we're going to base the wager on.
Okay, what if I gave you Baylor plus 2.5 and for a little how about a bet for chicken feathers? Whoever loses has to buy the other one chicken feathers on
Why don't y'all tease it? Why don't y'all tease the bet?
Well, I was going to say I like the offer from Don Don, but I think Auburn's going to win that football game. So,
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Conrad.
Well, then you're going to take Auburn in the 2.5.
Well, yeah, but I think he was offering me the other side of that because I assumed Don Don wanted the plus 2.5.
No, I was going to give you Baylor plus 2.5.
Actually, it's down to 2. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. It is. Since you've been on the phone and you said that you liked Auburn, it fell a half point.
Golly, Don Don.
It's now, and the point total is 58.
Well, Pat, I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever seen a game like this? Like, the first week of the season with so much action on it?
It's interesting because it's flip-flopped numerous times. Auburn opened as a favorite, and then it got down to about a pick-em. Then Baylor went about a point or so ahead, and then now Auburn's a 2-point favorite. And by the way, Alabama is a 13-point favorite, not 13.5, but they are a 13-point favorite right now. And FSU Dave just texted in. He said it's a game day line, Conrad, not the week of.
Oh, it's game day? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So
okay. And everything. Well, yeah, that's going to be a lot of good topic of conversation. Matter of fact, FSU Dave and PG's son Joseph have invited me, PG, Maria, and Constance to their Florida State watch party.
Oh,
so let me ask you this: since I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm just curious. LSU is a 4.5-point underdog on the road at Clemson.
Well, yeah, I tell you what. They might end up taking that off the board, guys, because of Nussmeier's injury. They don't know if he's going to play or not.
Nussmeier will be there.
Don't be spreading all that message board gobbledygook.
He's going to play.
Well,
that kid is tough as nails.
I tell you what,
he played in a scrimmage on Saturday.
He played in a scrimmage, Don Don.
Well, I'm going to tell you, speaking of message boards, Landrum, my Auburn message board has been nuts over a scrimmage, and it's amazing on every message board on every team how many so-called insiders you have trying to say that they know about a scrimmage game. Okay, it's just ridiculous. And something funny to tell you real quickly because I know you got other people waiting. Landrum, I got imitated on the Auburn Live Show last night from a caller pretending to be me again.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying? But Jay Lee and Cole actually fell for it because the guy's voice sounded like my voice. He did a great job.
I'm sure he did.
I'm gonna have to let y'all listen to that in the morning anyway. But anyway, everybody. Molly, are you or Conrad going to be there tomorrow?
I don't know yet, Don Don.
We don't know.
Well, Conrad, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's Molly's turn. We need to see Molly tomorrow.
All right. Don, thank you so much for the phone call. We love you. We continue here on Three Man Front. We will get to your text. More of you are waiting to chime in on the phone lines. We'll do that as well. As Three Man Front continues on this Reaction Monday on your home for college football and more. Jox.
Phone lines are open, 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. We're just talking about some future point spreads. Just doing a little looking during the commercial break, just tweeted this out. The current Alabama point spreads via betonline.ag. Bama, 13-point favorite against Florida State. Georgia is a 4-point favorite against Alabama. Bama is a 12.5-point favorite over Tennessee. 6.5 over LSU, 13.5 over Oklahoma. And if the Iron Bowl were played today and you wanted to make a friendly wager based on the Las Vegas point spread, Alabama would be a 7-point favorite on the road at Jordan-Hare against the Auburn Tigers.
Did you say South Carolina? Is that
South Carolina was not listed.
Not listed?
Nope.
That'll be an interesting one just based on how the season goes. If I would think Alabama may be a slight favorite right now, but we'll see, I guess, when you get to that point in the season.
Yep.
I was just looking at the college football playoff odds. Had changed for any of these teams, according to BetOnline. But
Based on the poll that came out?
well, not based on the poll, but just based on, I haven't checked these in a while and just seeing if they had updated or changed, or if there was anything that looked kind of out of the ordinary.
You don't see Florida in the top 5 of title odds now?
I don't see Florida in the top 5. In fact, I see Florida with a less of a chance to make it than Auburn, less of a chance to make it than Kansas State, Louisville, Texas A&M, Michigan, Tennessee, Boise, Ole Miss, and then the top 10.
I guess Wilner's bet hasn't hit yet. They got to reshuffle it once.
So how about this? If the preseason AP poll was the final of the CFP rankings, Alabama would host LSU in a December playoff game.
Sign me up for that.
After hosting them in the first part of November at Bryant-Denny. How about that?
That would be awesome.
LSU in early November, Bama and LSU in December at Bryant-Denny.
Just in time for Nussmeier to be completely healthy. 800-239-WJOX. He is poetic. He waxes that way sometimes. Crimson Convict. Hello.
What's up, fellas? Hey, Pat, how you going to do Don like that, man?
I'm sorry. Couldn't resist.
Broke his spirit for the day, didn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot. He hadn't had a whole lot to celebrate here recently. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
But, Pat, you know what I always say? You know why you kick a man when he's down, right?
That's right.
When he's closest to your feet.
That's right.
It's all about efficiency.
Got to take care of it. Got to take care of it. When you have an opportunity, when you have that foot on the throat, you have to finish it.
It's a killer instinct, brother. And
That's right.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
that.
that.
I've been trying to get in a few times, and I know at least Landrum does. He cringes every time he sees my name on the call screener. But
no.
Yes, you do.
No, I actually
will tell you
would want to go to you first.
Well, I will tell you this, Landrum, to ease your heart. I am a God-fearing, Jesus-believing man, and I've got a good woman who keeps me that way. Just still a little rough around the edges. I'm just working on it.
Amen. God is great.
Well, I will ask you this. So I guess you saw, both of you, and I know that it's a publication of note, where Pro Football Focus had Alabama as having the best offensive line in the country and the second best defensive line in the country. And I just found out from Conrad that the defensive line didn't look real good. What are your thoughts on that, Pat? And is it really the accuracy of it that comes into play?
Based on the information that I've had so far in fall camp, I think the defensive line is going to be an area of concern. Now, when I say area of concern, that doesn't mean that they're going to be bad. It just means that with other aspects of the football team, they expect those guys in the other position groups to have better seasons. Rodney Orr has been very outspoken on this topic over the last year or so in regards to them trying to develop more interior defensive linemen. It's about depth. The first part of the scrimmage on Saturday, Alabama's offensive line did very well. Towards the back end of practice, the defensive line started to get into the backfield more. They started to create more havoc. which I'm not really sure what the reasoning, what that was, if the offensive line was outperforming or the defensive line just was not having a very good day. Like I said, Crimson Convict, I do not think that this means that Alabama's defensive line is going to be trash. I just think that of all the aspects of the football team that they currently have and the way things have been going in the fall, I think that is the area that is the weakest so far. Pro Football Focus, as you mentioned, they had them at number 2 in the nation, which that made people like Conrad very happy to see that. But I kind of shrugged my shoulders when I saw that, to be completely honest with you. I do not think they have the second best defensive line in college football.
However, we do have, correct me if I'm wrong, is LT Overton a preseason All-American? Is he on the list?
I mean, not probably maybe a second team, potentially. I mean, because I'm just thinking of the SEC. I mean, I definitely think he was a SEC. I'm not sure that he would be a national All-American first team. I definitely say he's a second teamer.
ESPN has him as a first-team All-American.
Okay. Well, there you go. I stand corrected.
So we got preseason All-Americans on both sides of the trenches preseason. And I mean that's optimistic. Let's put it this way: if we're not going to get pressure up front on the defense, then I really like how our secondary is as far as being able to lock down and control those guys to give them a little bit more time. So it's a yin and a yang. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, guys, since I've been here. And listen, I'll get back with you here pretty soon.
Hey, listen, you need to have a conversation with your boss about you not being able to participate more in this program.
Yeah, I'll let you have that conversation with him. How about that?
Hey, if we have to send a note, we'll do what we can.
Yeah, get a note from my favorite sports talk show.
Absolutely.
As far as the reason why I can't do my job and I got to go to Taco Tuesdays.
Well, I mean, it's a public service. I mean, you're there for the people. So
I would agree with you, and I'll be there for them first week, guys. I'll holler back at you.
Thank you, man. Take care. Appreciate the call. 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line, Landrum, is open, and we've got a full bank.
We do. 205-834-9450. Pizza Larry. You guys are too hard on yourselves. The SEC media poll is 100% accurate. All the teams in the media poll are in the final SEC standings. Thank you so much. Going back to the 40% clip, 40% is a Major League Baseball hitter. Gets you in the Hall of Fame. It does.
30% gets you in the Hall of Fame.
I was about to say 40%, you're an all-timer. It's a great point.
Is it Luis from Homewood? Or Lewis? Luis. Clemson should be ahead of Ohio State. They don't even know who the quarterback is yet. I'll buy that.
Fierce competition in Columbus, according to Ryan Day.
Nick from Prattville. I'm a firm believer Miami will be this year's version of 2024 Florida State. Worth noting, FSU was ranked 10th in the first AP poll in 2024. Just saying. Yep.
So they're going to get left out of the playoff for Alabama?
So Nick thinks that Miami is going to go 2-10 this season.
Oh, I was thinking 2 years ago. Sorry. Yeah. No, that would be shocker. Again, I don't think anybody would be necessarily shocked if Miami went 9-3 and missed the playoff, but if they went 5-7 or something like that, I think probably looking at a new coach.
Mason asked, do you think the main concern with Bama in the polls ranking them a little lower is solely the uncertainty at quarterback, which in my opinion will be vastly improved? Mason. I think it has something to do with it. I think who the head coach is has something to do with it. There was a Nick Saban factor.
Think about this crazy stat, since we're talking about the AP.
And it was earned, by the way.
Preseason top 25. LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi State, those teams in the SEC have more top 25 teams on their schedule, 7, than Penn State and Indiana have combined.
That's not surprising. That is not surprising. I will say, too, back to the point about Alabama, and I think, if you're an Alabama fan, you probably can recognize this, but let's be honest. This is a team that over the last few years, you're not as disciplined. You get penalized more often. They don't do the fundamental things as well as they used to, and I think that's the kind of stuff that factors into these preseason polls is can we bank on them being better than those areas or not?
I mean, seriously, the Big Ten talking points and about how Bielema ran his mouth and Kirk Cignetti wanted to make headlines and all this crap. I mean, it's not holding up. I mean, these national voters, they're not buying it. So all this talk about the SEC not being deep, like Rhett Lashley said, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. When Penn State and Indiana only playing 6 ranked opponents, according to the AP preseason poll that just came out, and LSU, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, Florida playing 7 apiece. I mean, come on.
This one reads, Don will have the last laugh. Can't wait to see all the crow on this particular show. Well, when the Cubs win the World Series, we'll tell them congratulations. Oh, yeah, I think he meant Auburn. What is Don? What is his prediction anyways? So how does he get the last laugh? Because I don't know. I haven't.
I think his last laugh is he's taking a shot at me about recruiting. So, I mean, I guess he's subscribing to Ronnie Sanders saying that Auburn will have a top 15 recruiting class when it's all said and done.
Looks a lot more likely now than it did 2 months ago.
And by the way, I've not predicted that Auburn was going to be dead last in the SEC. All we've done is we reported daily whatever the rankings are. And the rankings, they're on the move up.
I was about to say, I think for the last couple months, we've been very steadfast that, yeah, Auburn will probably finish with a top 15 or top 20 recruiting class, and they should.
Don and the back and forth, I love this. I saw where Conrad responded, and he threw out there, hey, Conrad, I'll take Auburn +7 now for a lunch. And apparently you responded and said, let me see a game or two first. And now Don has responded and said, are you scared, bro?
Are you?
Are you fearful?
No, I just don't like betting on the final game of a regular season before we've even seen either of these teams in action at all. Also, it's in Jordan-Hare. I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn won the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama won by a field goal.
By the way, going back to Crimson Convict and talking about the rankings and PFF and putting out offensive line, number 1 in the country, number 2 defensive line in the country, there have been years where Alabama was ranked in both the coaches and AP poll higher than 8th, where they weren't ranked number 1 or number 2 in those respective areas.
Also, how many years going now? Is this 3 or 4 years in a row where we've been told every year that Alabama has the biggest and the best offensive line in college football, and then they don't? So maybe it'll be better this year, but recent track record, not going to be the best.
This one reads, we'll just have to get to it. It's circle. It's buffering. Must be really important. We continue. It's Reaction Monday here on 3-Man Front. We'll get to more of your texts, more of your phone calls as well. Get closer to college football season on this Monday.
It is 11:50 here on Jox Top of the Hour. We will talk to Nick Kelly from AL.com. Are you tired about worrying about your roof? Whether it's your family home or a commercial building, Abide Roofing delivers tailored solutions for every need. At Abide, it's about more than just a new roof. It's about a team of highly skilled pros who bring their A game every job. They work with precision and pride, using only the best materials to guarantee durability and lasting value. With over 25 years of trusted experience, they have the expertise to get the job done right the first time. We know dealing with insurance companies can be a hassle, so don't let it hold you back. The experts at Abide Roofing, they're masters at navigating the claims process to get you the coverage you deserve. And with their comprehensive warranties on both products and craftsmanship, you'll have peace of mind for years to come. So call Abide Roofing today, 205-941-6223, or go to their website, abideroof.com. Abide Roofing, quality, precision, and customer satisfaction every time. 205-941-6223.
The text continued to roll in during the commercial break. Conrad, this one's for you. Justice texted in. He says, tell Conrad to quit being a pansy.
Except he didn't use the word pansy.
Okay, so what was it?
I'll bet Don a lunch on the Iron Bowl.
7 points.
Auburn plus 7?
Auburn plus 7.
Let's make it dinner.
So you're gonna bet Don.
You know, soup does not count as dinner.
Thank you, Seinfeld.
And this is going to be at your house, right? Dinner at your house.
Yep. Paige will cook for us. It'll be great.
Okay, there you go.
Candlelit.
The bet has happened.
Yep.
I love this. Last week, it was Landrum saying that he's going to get double piercings if Vanderbilt plays for a national championship.
Ear. Just for people who weren't listening. Ear piercings.
And so
Make sure you clarify that.
So now Conrad, well, I'm good at clarifying things.
Yes.
He's good at clarifying things the way he wants to clarify.
Exactly.
The way that I hear them.
Correct.
Exactly.
It's not the way that they really came out of your mouth. It's the way that I interpret them.
Yep.
And so now I interpret that Conrad has just bet Don 7 points going Don's way. Now, there's no hook involved. Right now, it's 7 points. Bama's a favorite over Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And so if Don wins the bet, Don will get a candlelight dinner, homemade, there at the Conrad Van Order household.
Yep.
You
That's
said
right.
Paige will be cooking.
She will cook, yes.
There you go. Very nice of you to volunteer your wife to do
Will
that.
you wear,
sure she
will you wear a
appreciates it
coat
as
and
well.
tie?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
No tuxedo.
We'll have to stream this live if this happens.
It's going to be a black tie event.
We will have to stream it live.
Let's go to Miles. He's in Mississippi. Hey, Miles.
Good morning, all. Hope everybody's well.
Yes, sir. Hope you are.
I am. I had a couple questions I was hoping y'all would give me your opinion on. First off, do y'all think the Georgia-Auburn rivalry will ever go away?
I don't. But as far as playing it every year, if that's what you're asking, I could see where that at some point gets disrupted.
Okay. I know at one point the SEC was looking at going to pods or mini divisions. Do you think that's still in play somehow in the future? Even like if they expand a couple teams, do you think they would do something like that, or do you think we're kind of just going to be the way it is?
You know, I think they would potentially look at that if you were to add maybe a couple more teams or so. But I have not I have not heard that conversation in a couple of years. You know, I think what's the funny line that people say? You're getting to the point now where you get past 16, it's not so much a conference, it's a league. You know what I'm saying? It's like the National Football League.
Yeah.
And because it's so difficult to schedule and give everyone an opportunity to play everybody in your conference, which is now getting as big as some leagues. So it might be more efficient looking at that pod system, but I think once they scrap the divisions, I don't think it'll ever come back.
Gotcha. Y'all, I appreciate it.
Miles, we always appreciate you.
Thanks, Miles. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call.
More texts coming in. Max says, tell Conrad he owes me 2 hours of my life back from watching Happy Gilmore 2 on his recommendation. That was painful. I liked it.
That's
as well.
I don't understand why people don't like it.
No, I was playing with golf with a group of guys this weekend, and
It's not as good as the first one, but why would you expect it to be?
what were your expectations? Where could they have gone with that plot line? Exactly where they
I
did.
enjoyed all the cameos personally.
I did too. Who knew that Happy Gilmore would divide us?
That's
Happy Gilmore 2 would divide us. We continue. 12 o'clock hour, more college football news, more of your reactions from the weekend and speculation moving forward. Three-man front, your home for college football and more, right here on Jox.
It is 12 noon. We will talk to Nick Kelly from AL.com coming up momentarily. We'll get his thoughts on fall camp for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Scrimmage number 1 in the books on Saturday morning. Earlier in the program, we talked to Jason Campbell from Auburn Undercover. So if you missed that interview, you can go back and download the 3-Man Front podcast and listen to what Jason had to say in regards to Auburn's scrimmage on Friday, some recruiting news, and some other odds and ends for the Auburn football program. Preseason AP Top 25 poll came out about an hour ago. The Texas Longhorns, number 1, according to the AP. Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson 4, Georgia 5. Bama comes in the exact same spot they did in the preseason coaches poll, which is preseason number 8. Auburn did not garner enough votes to be ranked in the top 25. They would be ranked 37th if you carried out the total of votes. So that's where we stand at this hour in regards to what's going on in the wonderful world of college football.
I don't know, going back to Auburn, how if people actually get offended or put off by these polls. Look, I know that some people do, but for a team that went 6-7 and 5-7 in the last 2 seasons, know that there's a lot there that could happen. But at this point, from the administration, from the fans to the AP and the coaches voters, Pat, you got to prove it on the field.
No, you absolutely do. And it's nothing but a motivation factor.
Sure.
Moving forward. I was looking down the entire list of the 65 voters for the Associated Press preseason poll, and it looks like there's about 3 or 4 that voted Alabama second. You had Javon Edmonds. He voted Alabama number 2 in his preseason poll.
Javon Edmonds. I'm writing these down.
Keep going. I'm not sure. I do not have his affiliation.
I'll find him.
Wait, is that my boy from Albuquerque?
No. He was the only person in America that voted Alabama number 2.
I like that guy even more.
Number 3, you had a host of folks, including Ralph Russo from The Athletic. He voted Alabama number 3. He was on our program last week discussing things. Let's see who else.
Javon covers Syracuse.
Okay, so upstate New Yorker thinks that Alabama's number 2 in America in the preseason. Also, you had a writer from the Albuquerque newspaper. He's got Alabama at number 3.
Who is this?
Sean Reeder, Reider.
All right.
So
he's legit, Landrum. Don't worry.
So one person
looking at him,
had Alabama at number 2 preseason. 2 voters had Alabama at 3. Nicole Auerbach, I see, she had Alabama at 9. Bob Ballou from CBS Austin, he voted Alabama 13. Just kind of looking through the list. All right. Our next guest, Nick Kelly, covers the Alabama Crimson Tide. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Nick, I hope you're doing well. We're just going over the AP preseason top 25. Anything jump out at you, the list that you saw earlier this morning?
Well, I didn't vote on it, so you guys can't dox me for my vote.
Now, we would not do that to you.
Well, it's always out. That's the thing. I did the AP poll at one point, and it's you hear from those random fans because as you guys know, the polls are made public, and I remember I upset the St. Bonaventure fans one time. They were all on my emails, mentions, DMs. It's pretty crazy. But to answer your question, what stood out to me, maybe Alabama's a little low, but I'm not surprised. I mean, they're third among SEC teams in the poll, just like they were in the media preseason poll. So it's not shocking, but I'm going to be surprised if Alabama is as low as 8 by the season end.
Yeah, good point. Nick Kelly joins us from AL.com talking Alabama football. So the scrimmage took place on Saturday. Your intel, the people that you talked to around that program, were they pleased with scrimmage number 1 under Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, it seems like the offense is in great shape, ahead of schedule, if you will. It's one of those things where the defense a lot of times looks pretty good early on just because the offense is trying to get on the same page. But Alabama's offense came out of the gate, played really well. I mean, Kalen DeBoer said that. And the defense kind of had to wake up and catch up. So I think that was the most encouraging thing. There were a lot of fans who got a little worried that seeing there were no interceptions, what does that mean for the defensive backs? But we know the defensive backs are going to be solid. I mean, it's a good secondary. I'm not worried about that. To me, that was such a good sign for the quarterbacks that they are taking care of the football. They aren't making many mistakes. So the offense is in a good spot.
Nick, how, based on what you've seen, reports and people you've talked to, how has Ty Simpson elevated his game?
Yeah, I think you just hear about him being poised and crisp and clean and just the way that he goes about playing. And that's kind of all the small things that coaches want. And I think that he's doing that well. And I think that he's been consistent in that way. He's been reliable. He's looked like the veteran that he is. And I think that goes a long way because this offense in a lot of ways is just, hey, this is an awfully nice sports car. Just make sure you keep it on the road. Just keep it going in the right direction. It really is just one of those. I mean, they have so much talent and so many guys that you just need a guy who can kind of steer the ship and keep it on schedule. And I think that Ty is showing that he's got the ability to do that. And that's what they need more than anything. But, I mean, of course, it's nice when you can throw a pretty football or that you can make some spectacular plays. And I think he's capable of that. But I think more than anything, they need a guy who's just solid, and I think he has shown that, and he's shown he can be consistent, which is what they've wanted from him.
And speaking of the offense, all indications are that the wide receiver room with Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, now Isaiah Horton coming in from Miami, and also a name that I've got a lot of people tell me this name to keep your eye on is Rico Scott, that he has had a really good fall camp so far. Your impressions so far from the wideout position at Alabama?
Yeah, it's stacked because the surprising thing to me, guys, is you mentioned all those guys, and I totally agree that they're all going to have a good season. But a guy that multiple observers told me about after the scrimmage on Saturday was Cole Adams. He made some plays. And now I think it was maybe more with the twos potentially than it was the top group. But, I mean, here's another guy who's in the mix that is trying to make sure that people don't forget about him. So they've got all sorts of options. Another one, Derek Meadows, the freshman. I mean, he's 6'5", and he's got some speed. I mean, you can use a guy like that. So, yeah, you have the top three for sure, and Rico Scott's probably that fourth. But they've got a lot of good options and different guys who can do different things. And so I'm going to be so fascinated, I should say, to see how they use that group of receivers.
We know the offensive line highly heralded heading into the season by most publications, Nick. But if there is a weak spot on that offensive line, where would it be?
Yeah, I think you want to see it more from Wilkin Formby at the right tackle spot. I think he's going to be improved. Everything I've heard is that he's better. But I think that a lot of fans still are a little bit scarred by what he did against South Florida. But I think he's come a long way from that, and he's improved a lot from that. So I'm really eager to see what he can do, but I need to see it from him too. He's got to prove it kind of thing to make sure that spot is shored up. But I think he can do that. So that's a question mark I have, but I'm not too worried. Otherwise, at guard, just seeing how that works out, how they play. I'm high on Cam Dewberry. I think obviously Jaden Roberts is a super strong guy with experience, and even Geno Vandermark brings a lot too. But I'm curious to kind of see how that plays out because he did lose arguably the best player on last year's roster in Tyler Booker. And you have to replace that. And I think they'll be fine, but those are probably the two spots that I maybe have questions about, but I'm not overly worried.
Nick Kelly joins us from AL.com, covers the Alabama Crimson Tide, joins us on the Higginbotham hotline here on this Monday after the first scrimmage from Saturday. So all indications, no turnovers during the scrimmage for the Alabama offense on Saturday. Kalen DeBoer in his post-scrimmage press conference mentioned that there's only been 3 during all of fall camp. Does that mean the offense is at a really high efficient clip, or is that a problem on the defensive side because Kane Womack's group is not being able to force those turnovers?
Yeah, they want those takeaways. So if they're not getting them, they're hearing it from Kane. But again, I just think that Alabama's secondary is going to be good. I'm not worried about it. They've proven they can be good. They'll be back. Most of the guys are back. It's just a matter of, for the quarterbacks, if they're not turning it over, if they're keeping the football in a safe place and not playing losing football, if you will, that's a great sign, especially this early in camp relative to how many camp. They're about halfway done now with camp practices. And the fact that they've minimized turnovers that much, that's a huge sign, because I don't think that this offense is going to have to carry the team on its back and just hope that they can outscore a team 50-45 or something like that. the defense should be pretty solid. So if you can just not put the defense in bad spots and put them, up against their own 20 off a turnover, that helps a lot. So I think folks should be really encouraged by where the quarterbacks are in terms of taking care of the football.
Outside of Ryan Williams, who do you believe is going to be the most productive at that position this season?
Oh, man, I keep going back and forth because Isaiah Horton is the exciting kind of new toy, so to speak, for the offense, and I think he's going to have a great season. But don't sleep on Jeremy Bernard. He's not as maybe electric as a Ryan Williams or even this new guy, Isaiah Horton, but he's reliable as it gets. I mean, he only had, I believe, 2 drops last year per Pro Football Focus. And he also he's got solid hands. He was more productive post-Georgia than Ryan Williams was. And I think folks kind of forget about that just because Ryan Williams has all the attention. But Jeremy's a really reliable receiver and just a good, solid option. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth between those two. But I really we might see a repeat of that Washington team in year 3 or in year 2 for DeBoer, where I think they had 3 receivers, put up some pretty big numbers. So I could see that again this year.
So some of the reports I was getting on Saturday was the first half of practice, the offensive line did very well holding their own, against the defensive line. But in the second half of the scrimmage, I was told the defensive line started finally making some noise. Any concerns from your point of view in regards to what you've heard from the defensive interior for Alabama?
I don't know that I'm concerned. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what they can do. I think they need to step up there. I'm not sure about the depth on the interior, but I am eager to see a guy like Jeremiah Beeman, see what he can do in year 2. I've heard some good things about him. See how he kind of fills in with a Tim Keenan type and really a Kelby Collins, the Florida transfer. Where does he fit in and what can he do is another guy that I'm watching. So I think so much of this team right now, guys, to me, it's not a concern. It's more of just, I don't know yet. And I attended school in the show me state. So it's, you got to show me kind of deal. So I'm really curious to see what that interior can do. The only position that I'm really worried about is special teams at this point, but I do have questions about a lot of other positions.
Well, that was where I was going to go next, because I know that's not the sexy conversation that fans want to talk about. They want to talk about the offense. They want to talk about the quarterbacks, wide receivers, running back, but the kicking game. And that's an area that potentially, as Auburn found out last year, without that reliable kicker, all of a sudden you're talking about a team that potentially could vie for a college football playoff berth is now struggling to maybe even make a bowl game. Where does it currently stand with the field goal kicking and the punting situation in Alabama?
Yeah, I wish I could give you a certain answer that I feel confident about something, but I just don't at this juncture. I don't think that it's not that they don't have the guys that could develop into that, but I'm just not certain about it. And yeah, I am wondering what it's going to look like. And can a Connor Talty at kicker, can he step into that field goal kicker role and do well? I mean, he was a solid guy in kickoffs last year, but we just don't know what he's going to be like as a field goal kicker. And then at punter, I mean, folks took James Burnett for granted to an extent because he became so automatic and just trustworthy. They forgot how, when you don't have good punting, how bad that can look. And it can be a 10-yard shank of a punt. And next thing you know, the offense or the opposing offense has the ball on your own 30. So yeah, I don't know that I'm panicking about it, guys, but I also don't feel good about it right now if I'm an Alabama fan. So I need to see answers there, and we'll be interested to see how that progresses throughout the season.
That is Nick Kelly. You can follow his work at al.com. Nick, always great to catch up. Should be a fun rest of the week with the second scrimmage coming up on Saturday. We appreciate it as always.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. That is Nick Kelly joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. All of our guests join us on that hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, Nick said right now he doesn't feel great about Alabama special teams. You want to feel great, you want to look great, you can do it at Mandu right there in downtown Homewood. Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness. It's all FDA approved, and it's a 15-minute workout that you're going to get results from. And without going into all of the technology and the electric pulses that go to various parts of your body, it works. That's why many people started Mandu and they've continued with Mandu, because you get results. 15-minute workout, the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym because of that technology. Your first visit is free and they'll put you in the workout. Go to Mandu, MANDUU.com. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Jox sent you.
We'll go over the AP preseason top 25 poll that came out about an hour ago. Where does Alabama and the rest of the SEC stack up against the rest of college football? That's next on Three Man Front. Well, one thing's for sure about the AP preseason top 25 poll, the voters believe in parity. Think about this. So you got 10 SEC teams in the top 25, 6 in the Big Ten. Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, and Oregon all received first place votes. It's the first time since 2016 that at least 6 teams received first place votes in the preseason AP poll. 6 different teams. Pretty amazing. Also, we pointed this out a little bit earlier. LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi State, they have more top 25 teams on their upcoming schedule, which is 7 for each of those teams. Then Penn State and Indiana play combined. Those 2 teams combined, they play 6. So there you go. So 1 SEC team, or actually, you've got 4 SEC teams that play 7 ranked opponents alone on their schedule. But the Big Ten, they've got to combine 2 teams to get to 6 teams in the top 25. Just saying.
I just like you pointing out all the
Well, I'm not
Fine
seeing Kirk Cignetti and Brett Bielema have an impromptu press conference at their practices talking about how great the Big Ten is, or Rhett Lashley having a press conference in the Metroplex talking about the SEC not having much depth.
I'm going to be real pissed when I see the video of John Gruden at Penn State talking about how much he'd love to coach in the Big Ten.
I mean, Rhett Lashley was on this radio station last week. Did he crow about the ACC being better than the SEC? Did I miss that?
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't? Okay. I was just double checking, make sure I didn't miss something.
Well, he might be trying to stay in the good favor of some people in the state.
Yeah, because if Hugh Freeze is bounced out, I'm sure he wants the Auburn job. So there you go.
Well, he's always said he wanted to work in a top-heavy conference.
Are we just going to ignore the elephant in the room and what Nick Kelly just told us about special teams? I could see it in your face.
Oh, Connor Talty, it all relies on you. And that magical right leg, left leg, I don't know what he is, but
I think he's right leg.
One of the legs.
Connor, our advice to you after covering several Alabama teams that had kicking woes, don't put your address out there.
Don't be a Griffith. Don't be a Papanastis.
Come up with a cool alias.
Be a Reichard.
Yep.
Maybe not a Nicholson.
Don't let anybody follow you on social media.
No. I do agree with one of the things that Nick said, though. I do think that, players like James Burnup or J.K. Scott, you take those guys for granted because you don't understand how valuable they are until you have a guy back there that can't do what they do. And you realize very quickly how the field possession game and things of that nature, just how important it is to have some of those guys. So, yeah, hopefully it's a big juxtaposition from what we're hearing from Auburn where, okay, maybe there's some other concerns, but at least special teams has been lights out for them. And that was a big problem last year. And you brought that up
we've seen teams lose because of the lack of being able to kick field goals and hold tryouts that Monday of practice.
Yep. Didn't Arizona State do that last year?
I think Lane Kiffin has done it.
Yeah.
Maybe not after a loss, but I can remember the comment about the frat house.
They tried to get a soccer player, right? I think.
And it was so weird. I would go on radio shows around the country talking about Alabama during the Nick Saban era. And this was before Will Reichert kind of stabilized that because he was there for like 8 years.
Yeah.
As Alabama's kicker. But it was like, how in the world can Alabama recruit at the ridiculous level that they recruit every single year
and not find a kicker?
And they don't have a kicker. Like, what in the world? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. It's bizarre to us, too, that do a radio show in Birmingham, Alabama. We have no idea what is going on there, but it's real.
And then some of the schools that you see that aren't very good.
Oh, they got a kicker.
Can't recruit out of their own city, but they have a kicker that's on. I'll stop there. They have a kicker.
And let's just be honest. After Will Reichert finally graduated, and then you go steal a kicker from Miami of Ohio.
In the middle of the night.
And he kicked like 6 field goals last year.
Against his will.
And he wasn't.
No, he wasn't very good.
No.
And he had won the award as the best kicker in the country the year before.
Which was weird.
Yeah, because Reichert should have won it. But.
Yeah, Reichert should have won it the year before. I mean, that kid was like 140 soaking wet.
Yeah, so DeBoer was like, hey, let's go grab this kid out of his dorm room in the middle of the night.
Well, the odd thing, too, you talk about how you could never find a kicker. Like, they would regularly bring in guys that were very highly recruited, very highly rated, and they were just bust every single time.
It's a curse.
It really was for the longest time.
No, I think it still is.
Oh, it still is? Okay.
So Greg McElroy, a teammate on Mac and Cube in the morning here on this radio station, he was quoted this morning, I'm a little concerned about special teams, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Okie dokie. No, it's a thing.
So you just heard Nick Kelly talking about it. Greg McElroy mentioned it this morning. And Greg was there. He was in attendance with his children watching the game on Saturday.
Maybe that's why they worked on that last 7 seconds of a game thing. It's like bomb plays from the 35-yard line.
Grave
diggers.
Yep.
Yeah, just a bunch of grave diggers.
Every single play, grave digger. Well,
really hope we're not relying on that this year. It's
like what happened to Auburn last year. It's not an excuse. It's the facts that if Auburn would have had a better field goal kicker last year, Auburn probably would have found themselves with, let's be honest, a couple of wins and probably going bowling and maybe a completely different conversation you're having about Auburn this year.
There were games that they won where the kicking wasn't good.
Yeah.
And there's just an unfortunate situation with, somebody getting a very rare and serious illness and having to battle with that. At least that,
because
can't do anything about that.
You can go back to even the Eddie Gran, Tommy Tuberville years when Gran was the recruiting coordinator. It's hard to find a year where Auburn wasn't pretty solid. Not only in special teams, but in place kicker. And
I feel like Auburn and LSU are the two programs I think of in the SEC where it's like, don't really ever have to worry about the special teams. They have a factory. They have a pipeline.
My favorite kicker quote was back when Gene Stallings was the coach. I remember him coming on our program one day, and Paul was asking him about special teams because something had happened, and Stallings was telling the story of how at the very beginning of camp that the kicker was a rock star. He was hitting everything. And so then all of a sudden Stallings comes and starts standing behind the kicker, just watching him kick, and he couldn't hit anything. And he was like, "What's going on, son? Why weren't you hitting these field goals?" He turned around and looked at Coach Stallings, and he said, "Well, Coach, I can't kick with you standing right behind me." He goes, "Well, son, what are you going to do when there's 95,000 people at Legion Field yelling and screaming at you and you're kicking?" "I'm going to be there."
Kicking's weird, man, because you remember there was Aguayo, the kid from Florida State, who was, one of the best college kickers we'd ever seen. Then he goes to the NFL, can't hit a kick to save his life. It's all mental, or a lot of it.
A lot of Steve Sachs kickers, Chuck Knobloch. All of a sudden, they can't throw from second base to first base.
I witnessed a kid last year at the end of the season. It was heartbreaking, but
the yips,
a guy that was solid. He was up for all of the awards all year long. He had a straight 35-yard in the middle of the hashes field goal, kicks it, misses it. Luckily, there's a player offside. He gets a re-kick, and he hooks another one. Hadn't done that all season long.
I've seen numerous in high school that, and you know the rule in high school, if the ball crosses the end zone on a kickoff, it's a touchback. You can't bring it out. I cannot tell you how many just awesome kickers I've seen in high school that have just nailed it in the back of the end zone, and then you line them up for a field goal, and it can't hit nothing.
No. Couldn't hit the center in the butt if he tried.
No. It's amazing. But it's like you said, you don't think they're that important until you don't have one.
And they're real important.
Then you don't have one, and then you're going to find out real quick we're in trouble.
Might get a coach fired trouble.
Yeah.
Just because of that kicker.
Just go for it on fourth down every time. 2-point conversions.
That sheltered human being that just wanted to specialize in something, be a part of a team.
See, I think college should push it back to the NFL distance on extra points. You want to
make it a little more dramatic?
You want to talk about some crooked numbers and screwed up Vegas lines.
That's what I'm talking about.
They just asked LSU a couple years ago against Florida State.
They couldn't hit that one that close.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I like that idea. That's fun.
Reaction Monday. We want to hear from you.
Unless it's your team that's lining up for the 35-yarder.
Correct.
1-800-239-WJOX. More three-man front on this Reaction Monday here on Jox. We're here to take your phone calls on this Reaction Monday, 1-800-239-WJOX. If you missed our interviews, Nick Kelly from AL.com gave us the Alabama side of things. We also heard from Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. You can download those interviews at the Three Man Front podcast. Water doesn't need an invitation to find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, mildew, pests, and wood rot, but APS has the solution. The APS crawl space encapsulation system seals out the moisture, blocks pests, and can even help reduce your energy bills. And with added protection, your crawl space becomes usable, valuable storage space. Every home is different. That's why the engineers at APS can design a custom solution built specifically for your foundation. Call them today, 205-951-9717. Visit their website, alabamaprofessional.com. That number again, 205-951-9717. That's APS, protecting Alabama homes since 1977.
The text line is open. A lot of your reaction. We'll continue to get to the text throughout the show here on this Reaction Monday. 205-834-9450. That's the number, the best way to interact with us all season long. If you're just joining us today, maybe hey, it's football season light just came on. Posey said, speaking of kickers, what about the 70-yarder kicked in the preseason? That was impressive.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
That was the Jags, right?
Yep. Made Lane Kiffin proud, I'm sure.
Well, if you're gonna show out, it's
just unfortunate for stuff like that. Can we put that in the record book, even though it's in the preseason? I mean, he still did it.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
I will try to clean this one up. Maybe stop on the depth when it comes to the SEC and the Big Ten. 10 teams in the SEC couldn't beat a sick, oldest profession known to man off a sideways toilet. Neither could 11 teams in the Big Ten. Let's not talk depth.
First off, I like how you went oldest profession in the world. That was a good descriptor. Okay, so who is he championing? I'm just confused as to what the point of because he's not a Big Ten supporter.
No, I think he's saying that if you go deep into the conference, it would be the same for the Big Ten and the SEC. They would have a hard time beating.
Gotcha.
Like the top, yeah. And I agree.
But I think we also
agree.
I do. I was about to say, yes, you could say that about teams in every conference, Kentucky, Mississippi State, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, I think we're arguing the middle of the pack in the SEC versus the Big Ten. There's a bit of a disparity.
And we're always going to have asterisks. It could be, all right, well, it was a rain game, or they didn't have this player available, or look where that game was sandwiched, or, it was a bowl game, it was meaningless. Take South Carolina, Illinois.
See, exactly. And people would love to point that out, and I would say the same thing of, well, I kind of look at Missouri, Ohio State the same way 2 years ago. It's an impressive win, great for the resume, but, Missouri beating an Ohio State team with their second string is, okay. It's cool.
We did, off the air, and we will not read the text because they asked us not to, but going back to criticism of kickers and rabid, and I use rabid, you're a despicable human being. And you need to do self-inventory if you're sending death threats to anyone, but especially over a special teams player or any player that doesn't make a play in a game and you're threatening their family. But that's a real thing and something that people have to endure, not only in this state but around college football.
And that is, let's be honest, one of the unfortunate side effects of things like sports gambling, where you do have people that are going to say things that are absolutely horrible because they lost out on some money on a bet, not thinking about how that actually affects somebody's personal day-to-day life. You just lost $20 and now you're threatening to go bash somebody's kneecap in. You have a problem.
Pizza Larry says, my euphemism for oldest profession is woman of...
not daytime?
Negotiable virtue.
Okay, I never heard that one before.
Fat Joe has a question. When a college team scrimmages, for example, the scrimmage that Alabama has Saturday, the scrimmage at Auburn, is that a no-win situation? For example, if defense looks good, then they don't say They look as good as they struggle. The offense looks good. They're wondering what's wrong. What do y'all think? Yes, I think it is. Without reading the rest of your text, Fat Joe, yes. Because talking to, we had it on the Bill Clark show last week, Thursday nights. You can hear it, see it right here on Jox. But, yeah, you don't know situationally what's going on. What did that unit look like that day? What plays were called? What did they have at their disposal? I think there's a lot of things that we just try to connect dots to. Sometimes it's real.
Yeah, and let's be honest, without seeing it with your own two eyes, it can be hard to decipher a lot of those things. But like an example from this weekend, right? Okay, we hear Kalen DeBoer talk about, early on the scrimmage defensive line didn't look good, but then they stopped Alabama from scoring on the first drive. Well, they stopped Alabama from scoring on the first drive because Daniel Hill dropped a pass from Ty Simpson, right? So otherwise that would be a touchdown, and maybe you have a little bit different perspective on it. So it's one of those things where it's, okay, it's a good job they got to stop, but why did they get a stop? Because somebody else didn't execute and do their job.
I won't say the practice of the team, but I went to one of those that I was privy to get invited to go and watch, and afterwards I said, this guy right here, oh my goodness, coach, why have we not heard about him, seen him? He's amazing. He's like, that guy does not have get out of the rain sense. That's the only play he knows. I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. And my takeaway was just from watching, this guy's the next Walter Payton. Just an example of you. If you're not there for it every day, yes, sometimes it can be deceiving.
Well, the other thing that came out of the Alabama camp on Saturday is Ty Simpson looked really, really good. And I know people were asking Kalen DeBoer about the quarterback situation. Can we play cut 4 real quick, Conrad? Cut 4. This is a Kalen DeBoer after the scrimmage about the quarterback situation and when he's going to name QB1.
I feel like we're getting closer. I would have said before camp, we definitely got to make a decision by the time we get done with the second scrimmage, and I would anticipate for sure that being the case. And we'll see kind of how the next few days go. But it's two good showings, I think, especially by Austin and Ty again today, and again Keelan making the progress we'd hope for. You can see what his ceiling is going to be. It's just a matter of more reps.
I know this is not breaking news, but Ty Simpson's your starting quarterback.
No.
I mean, I think it's already been communicated to him. Hadn't been communicated to us.
I'm going to have to change my fantasy team name. It was going to be Keelan DeBoer.
Kalen DeBose?
Last year it was Jalen DeBoer.
So let me ask you this. So going into the spring, do you believe it was a legitimate open competition?
No.
Okay. So at no point do you think it was actually...
No, I don't.
Okay, there you go.
I will tell you
so
this.
You're saying they never had a chance. That's exactly what we're saying.
They lied to keep them on campus.
If you want to ask me who's improved the most from spring until fall camp, it's Austin Mack. He has come very far. But Ty Simpson's your starting quarterback.
But you feel, let's say, and again, this is the last thing you want, but let's say, Ty gets a boo-boo at some point, Austin Mack has to come in. You feel like there's a lot of confidence that he can run the offense.
They feel very confident on what the scheme is and what they're running, that any of the three quarterbacks,
it's going to be fine.
They feel like that they'll be able to matriculate down the field. Now, who's the best of the three? Ty Simpson.
There's not some massive drop-off.
But they feel so good about what they have offensively, and with Ryan Grubb in there, they feel really good.
You're up 55-0 on Vanderbilt this year.
They're pushing it to 7.
Third quarter.
They're throwing
Austin Mack, are you throwing a bomb?
You better
first
believe
play?
it. You better believe it. You better believe it.
I think so, too.
Playing inside Bryant-Denny Stadium against the team that embarrassed you last year?
I think
absolutely.
a flex by DeBoer and that staff would start Austin Mack.
I think all the players should get their ears pierced the week leading into the game.
I think that a group of Alabama players should go up to Nashville and urinate in the Vanderbilt practice facility on the field. No, they don't have an indoor practice facility, do they?
It's probably under construction.
Go into the gym. Do it there.
The Memorial Gym?
Yeah.
Like Diego Pavia did when he was at New Mexico?
Maybe one of the just really fancy buildings they have there on campus.
They have a few of them.
Yeah.
I saw a clip over the weekend. Are they still not done with that stadium renovation?
In Nashville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
It worked for them last year. They're probably like, let's keep the cranes for another year.
That's what I said. I think now it's superstitious.
I actually saw a video of some dude. It was on social media, and he was like, going, what is going on here? Like, this has been the longest stadium renovation for a stadium that seats 35,000 people he's ever seen in his life.
I saw the end zone. It looks great, but you're not going to be able to get everybody there.
I will say that end zone does look cool.
It looks really good.
The way it's tiered up.
Yeah. Almost like a ship.
Mm-hmm.
That was my idea. You go off of what Ray J has, but do it with a classier boat.
Cornelius Vanderbilt was a classy individual.
Yes, he was.
Bankering down.
What was that?
What was that?
Anchor down?
Bankering down.
Anchor down.
We had somebody this morning that was complaining that Kalen DeBoer was saying anchor down in his press conference. Is alluding to another loss to Vanderbilt.
Oh.
Somebody's saying, I hope Ty can throw with a 4.940 time. Oh, that's Crimson Convict. I love how he said that I shudder or I cringe every time he calls. I try to go to his first. I love you, man. I think you're great. I can't wait for the poetry.
I mean, he's not going to be Jalen Milroe out there, but do we remember the USF game when we've seen him run, Ty?
He can run. He's a lot faster when somebody's chasing.
Aren't we all?
Yes, we are, as a matter of fact.
You just got to be faster than the other people you're with.
All right, here's a promising story for all those Gators out there, like Pelham Gator and Kelly and Vestavia. Even though sophomore quarterback DJ Lagway did not participate in last Saturday's first scrimmage of the preseason practice, Billy Napier said today that Lagway's doing great. I think he's on schedule. He's executing our plan. Lagway was injured a week before preseason camp began and has, in Napier's words, been modified thus far in practice. However, his workload has apparently steadily increased. Lagway previously did not throw during spring practice due to what Napier called a lower body injury. So according to Billy Napier, he had a great day at practice today. Think he had his best day today. He looks more comfortable in his reps than he's been taking. Obviously, he didn't participate in the scrimmage on Saturday, but he's hitting all the numbers from a throw perspective. The ball is coming out of his hand with more velocity than any time in his career. We're working on soft tissue with the calf, and we're going to execute our plan there. So he'll be modified for a while.
Man, I hope Lagway stays healthy just to see how good this Florida team can be. Because last year, it was a drastic drop-off. You see DJ Lagway, and not that the other guys were terrible, but what he meant to that team and the confidence that he instilled in that team when he was in the game and believing you're going to make that play no matter what. And I'm not trying to put any whatever you want to consider. When I envision this season, I don't see DJ Lagway playing every game. I don't see Diego Pavia playing every game. I don't know why.
What about Arch Manning? What are you feeling about his ligaments? Intact?
Yeah.
Okay.
But those are the two players in the SEC, and they might be healthy, and we're talking about injuries to Auburn and Alabama's quarterbacks. But those are the two players, when I think about this season and kind of go 30,000-foot view, that they will not be available for every game. Relatively speaking, who does that hurt worse, Florida or Vanderbilt?
Oh, I mean, I think without Pavia, Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt's backup quarterback's giving up women.
That's right, Blaze.
Right. That's right. He gave up women.
I don't know what the alternative was to giving up women.
More women.
More women. Or...
We're gonna have the worst thing I've seen with this guy 10 years from now. He's gonna marry a football.
Okay.
Which it could be worse.
Yeah, Could marry a mannequin and have
Well,
kids.
I was about to say,
We
they'll
got
have
other
those
people that we know that have taken up with inflatables.
I was about to say,
At
they'll
least
have-
a football would be.
They'll have the robots by then, I'm sure.
All right, more of your calls, your texts on this Reaction Monday. This is Jox. $12:51, your calls are welcome at 1-800-239-WJOX. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Hope you'll join us tomorrow. It's customary every Tuesday from 10 until 2. We'll be live at Social Taco in Homewood. Come by and see us, have an extended lunch. Come by and say hello, talk a little sports with us starting tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Text line is open. 205-834-9450. This question from one of our great listeners. Is there any chance that Ty is kind of in that the staff is kind of obligated to start him like Milrose seemed to be last year? That's Josh from Boaz.
What was the last part again?
That the staff feels obligated to start him like Milrose seemed to be last year.
I don't sense that at all. I think he's handled the playbook very well. He takes care of the football very well.
Larry from Homewood. Kickers. Just change the bubblegum flavor to watermelon. Did a kicker do that?
I don't know. Not familiar with that
Might
story.
need a follow-up text from you, Larry. We appreciate it. Drake says people wanted to fire Billy Napier. Now he has a top 15 program. Well, for right now. You're in John Wildner's top 5.
Top 6.
Top 6.
Landrum thinks DJ Lagway is going to be on one leg by the end of the year.
I did not say that.
It could be a shoulder.
If you're just tuning in. I said I see him as not being available for every game. That could be a lot of different things. Mine was health related.
Yes.
Mine was not legal or anything else.
No, because of what we saw from him last year. He got banged up a couple of times, and he's had a rough offseason.
Darren from Tennessee. Heard Kentucky was having snapping issues. Y'all know that Wolford is the offensive line coach. He was Bama's online coach when McLaughlin was having issues. Uh-oh.
I was about to say, did he transfer to Kentucky? But I guess he's in the NFL now.
He ended up okay after all the death threats.
Yeah, kind of funny how he got a change of scenery and didn't have those jitters anymore last year at Ohio State. Good
you
for
think
him.
he was throwing games?
Maybe so. I'm happy he got his championship. Good for him.
Someone not a fan of Ben Ingram, Braves play-by-play man. I think Ben does an outstanding job. Okay, potentially Conrad, a worst thing I've seen candidate. Text came in at 12:43.
Yeah, that's not a good situation in Baton Rouge right now.
Matt from Fayette, is there any chance Auburn goes to Deuce Night if Jackson Arnold struggles at all throughout the year? Yes, I believe so.
And you wouldn't say that Jackson Arnold is on a short leash or anything like that, but I think...
Well, now more than anything, I think you feel like if you're Hugh Freeze, while inexperienced, in Deuce Knight's case, he's more than capable athletically. And then with Ashton Daniels, he's a guy that started, you trust. I didn't realize how big Ashton Daniels was. It's a big dude.
He's got a good frame. And I would just think with Auburn, right, if Jackson Arnold, let's say he makes some of the same mistakes you saw last year, right, maybe having somebody that doesn't have that bad experience wouldn't be the worst thing in a quarterback.
Brant says, hey, guys, you see college football going to preseason games in the future. Y'all have a good day. If it means more money, a lot more money.
Well, you had, Dion and Fran Brown wanted that this year.
But let's do them like games. Let's not have coaches out on the field. And if we're going to do it, let's do it like the NFL does it. Put real lines that people like Pat and others can bet on.
And played in Canton, Ohio.
No. Not Canton. We're playing them at Legion Field. Football capital of the South.
We are 12 days away from the start of the college football season. Welcome back in. It's three-man front. Pat Landrum, Conrad, Molly with you until 2 o'clock. AP preseason top 25 poll came out. Alabama preseason number 8. Auburn not ranked in the top 25. They would be ranked number 37 based on their point total. We also heard from Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. Also Nick Kelly last hour. Phone lines are open, 1-800-239-WJOX.
Well, this college football season, you need to go and check out Big Whiskey's because they are the place for great food of all varieties. They have a full menu with apps, salads, burgers to steaks. Their bar features unique cocktails, over 120 whiskeys, including whiskey on tap, and plenty of screens so you can catch all the college football or NFL action all weekend long. They also offer different food and drink specials for each day of the week. They have happy hour, and the kitchen is open late every night. So go in and catch the games on the bar, on the big screen, in the Stadium Trace Village off Highway 150.
So I did not realize this, but the last 10 favorites to win the Heisman Trophy has not won the Heisman Trophy. Did not realize that. The last Heisman Trophy favorite to win it was Marcus Mariota in 2014.
Ooh. I
think I hear Damian running down the hallway now.
There's no doubt.
In 2015, it was Boykin. 2016, it was Deshaun Watson. Darnold in 2017. Tua Tagovailoa in 2018 and 2019.
Robbed.
Was the preseason favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. 2 years in a row.
2 years, Conrad.
Did not win it.
Well, if his ankle and hip hadn't both snapped in half.
Fields in 2020 was supposed to win it. He did not. Rattler in 2021.
Oh, that's a funny one.
Wow.
Stroud in 2022. Williams in 2023. And Carson Beck last year.
I forgot Carson Beck was up.
Yeah, that's
I
when
forgot too.
That's when things were going well. He was driving around a fancy car in downtown Atlanta. He had the world on a string, dating one of the Cavender twins.
So I'd say his heart was in one piece instead of two.
Well, now he's not pigeonholed. He will have full reign of that offense.
Did you guys realize the last 10 Heisman Trophy winners
I did
were
not know that.
I didn't know that.
They were
either.
No,
not
I didn't.
favorites.
I don't do super deep dives on Heisman Trophy, like past and projections, but
And even with you going through them, I mean, seriously, whatever. We're splitting hairs on Tua and Kyler Murray, whatever. But I think outside of that and Deshaun Watson in 2016, he should have won the Heisman that year. Everyone else, I'm like, I don't really disagree with any of those, predictions not coming to fruition. Like, I don't look back at any of those guys and go, man, they really got robbed of the Heisman that year. They were the favorite.
you don't have a
outside
Peyton
of
Manning, Charles
Deshaun.
Woodson
No.
type situation.
No.
So why not? Why not Ty Simpson?
Why not Jackson Arnold?
Why not a half-healthy DJ Lagway?
Why not Zach Calzada, man? Why not? You got to believe it first. Why not Diego Pavia?
He's got a nice tux.
I think there's a better chance that he wins the Heisman than Vanderbilt plays for national championship.
Well, I tell you, someone that's probably not going to be up for the Heisman Trophy, and that's going to be Joey Aguilar at Tennessee. Because based on the scrimmage reports from the weekend, that I'm just telling you directly from the people that were there, they said that the one that threw the ball the best during their scrimmage this weekend was George McIntyre, who was going up against the 2s and 3s. Colin Brazel picked off Joey Aguilar for a pick 6 at one point. Aguilar was described as the second most accurate passer of the day. And keep in mind, Joey Aguilar, a couple years ago, was going to give up football to be a fireman? Mm-hmm. Wasn't that what he was going to be?
Yep. And now the guy that wasn't, good enough after Nico left, so you had to go out and get Joey Aguilar's looking better in fall camp then.
So how much do you think they paid Joey Aguilar?
I'm hoping it's not a lot. I hope they got a good
Tennessee
discount.
social media this weekend, it was in full meltdown. They were not happy. Knowing that your heir apparent to Nico is your second best and you're throwing pick sixes. Maybe another reason why the Tennessee social media last week, they blurred out so you couldn't see
who the quarterback
was that gave up the pick six in a practice.
Well, they got questions at quarterback. That's not good because I don't hear a whole lot about their defense is supposed to be the best in the country.
Mizzou had its second scrimmage of the fall this weekend. Not their first, but their second. They still have no idea who's going to play quarterback.
That's always good.
Mm-hmm. This is a theme we heard throughout the Alabama and Auburn scrimmage. The defensive line for the Mizzou Tigers dominated the second scrimmage.
Tells me offensive line's not very good.
Arkansas had a 140-play scrimmage.
Good.
That's a lot.
Grief.
That almost leads me to, wow, was it a really bad scrimmage and we're doing it again?
But Taylon Green had a 62-yard pass to running back Mike Washington. Washington then had a 4-yard touchdown run. Washington also had a 40-yard touchdown run.
140 play scrimmage. That's one where after 70 plays, you tell everybody go in, get showered, put on fresh practice gear, and we're going to come out and we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're going to run it back. It was 1 versus 2s.
They got a lot of new faces, though. Get the most bang for your buck in those scrimmages. 140 plays. Woo.
Number 6, Clemson, they scrimmaged on Saturday. Cade Klubnik and former Briarwood Christian quarterback Christopher Vizina both threw interceptions during the scrimmage. Running back Adam Randall had a good day from all indications for Clemson. He had multiple run bursts of 10-plus yards. But this is the story coming out of camp there at Clemson. I don't know if this is a bunch of hyperbole, trying to get the LSU fans worried. I'm not really sure. But they said the wide receivers have looked very impressive during camp. Insiders say the group reminds them of what the Tigers had back in the day with Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins.
Hey!
It's pretty good.
Wow, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, if you look at when they do the position rankings, it's Ohio State, Auburn, Clemson. Those are like the top 3 wide receiver rooms all off season.
So.
You not buying that, Pat?
No, I'm not saying that. It's just when you throw up those type names, that would be.
You're setting people up to fail.
It's like the equivalent of saying that the Alabama wide receiver room this year is the equivalent of Smith, Waddle, Judy, Ruggs, that group. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty bold. Very bold.
Good for Dabo.
Mm-hmm. Also over the weekend, this is pretty interesting. On August the 18th, Virginia Tech AD Whit Babcock, he is going to give a presentation to the Virginia Tech Board of Trustees on the future of Virginia Tech athletics and the support that is going to be needed by the university to keep Virginia Tech relevant. Public documents reveal that there's going to be 54 slides to this presentation, which cover 4 things: economics, new ACC revenue distribution, Virginia Tech's budget and resources. Currently, Virginia Tech has the 14th largest athletics department budget in the 17-team ACC.
Ooh.
The athletic director projects the financial status of the conference over the next 10 years. He says budgetary stressors continue to emerge with increasing coaching salaries, donor fatigue, and the impacts of the House settlement. He is not painting a very good picture for what Virginia Tech athletics is going to look like over the course of the next 10 years. And the whole discussion that they're going to have is, what is the university going to be willing to do in regards to help obviously offset the shortfall that athletics is going to have? He also pointed this out, and this is what made the headlines. He also pointed out, based on his figures, by the year 2030, the Big 12 will surpass the ACC in total revenue that each school will be getting.
Jimbo's going to have to find a way to talk around that as an introductory press conference.
He also laid out in one of the slides the potential of the future of what it looks like. And he basically laid out something that we've talked about on this show numerous times, pointing out that the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC join forces, and they ultimately have a super league, and nobody else will be participating. Scenario number 2, he pointed out, was that the SEC and the Big Ten could basically form their own union, and the likes of the Big 12 and the ACC, the American, the Mountain West, the Pac-12, all join forces to do their own thing. And there's 2 other options that he gave. But it was a very, very realistic look at where Virginia Tech is in the grand scheme of moving forward in the ACC.
Outside of football, I can't think of, in a little bit of success that they've had with Buzz and others in the basketball program. I think Mike White now. But for the life of me, I cannot even recall seeing another Virginia Tech sport that I could, I can't think of, I saw them play baseball this year or softball.
Right.
There's no other sport besides basketball, maybe.
Well, he also points out this brand new ACC plan, which is it's the 5-year rolling average of viewership rankings in football that can help you get paid more money. Remember Clemson and Florida State, they were the ones that were really trying to get that going. And he provides a chart, and it's pretty telling that from 2018 through 2024, it kind of alternated on years. Like in 2018, Florida State was the most viewed football program in the ACC. In 2019, 21, and 22, it was Clemson. Then in 23, it was Florida State, obvious reasons, going undefeated. And then last year, it was Clemson. So basically from 2018 to 2024, it was alternating between Clemson and Florida State. But from 2018 through 2024, the 3rd most viewed ACC football program, who do you think it was?
Is it Virginia Tech?
It is not.
Okay, good. North Carolina.
It is not.
Georgia Tech.
It is not.
Louisville.
It is not.
Miami.
It is. Every single year from 2018 through last season, Miami is the 3rd most viewed football program in the ACC.
Well, Miami still has that cachet from what we remember, Miami being in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. But also I'll give credit to Miami. They played some pretty cool non-conference games. They've had some pretty cool matchups in that time period.
And see, and Babcock is pointing out the following, where they don't pay a lot for their coaching staff. The football program has been non-existent. So back in 2018, they were the 4th most viewed. In 2019, 4th most viewed. Then in 2021, they fell to 5th. They didn't even register in the top 7 in 2022 or 23 or 24. So they've just fallen off the map in regards, because we all know if you don't have a good football product, people aren't going to watch. Then if you're not going to watch, then they're not going to get paid a bonus by the ACC. Last year, Georgia Tech was the 4th most viewed football product in the ACC, followed by Louisville, North Carolina, and NC State. That was your top 7.
Yeah. And some of it would have to do with your non-conference matchups, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I think to Georgia Tech last year, of course, the game in Ireland.
The end of the year game against Georgia.
But didn't they also play Notre Dame?
Yeah, they played in Atlanta. Yeah, they did.
Schedule helps too. But for them not to register? And what'd you say, 22, 20?
The last 2 years, they have not even been in the top 7. In 2022, they were 7th. The year before that, they were 5th. The year before that, they were 4th back-to-back years. So he is painting a picture that I'm just putting words on what I've been reading, is basically you guys are going to have to step up to the plate and make a significant financial contribution to this athletics department for us to be competitive, or Virginia Tech could go the ways of a Marshall or someone else in having to play in smaller conferences.
Yeah, I'm letting you know this collective group of money people before you start complaining and calling for my job and everybody else's job about why have we sunk so low when it comes to overall athletics. You got to pay to play these days.
He says budgetary stressors continue to emerge with increasing coaching salaries, donor fatigue, and the impacts of the House settlement. But the Big 12 will catch and pass the ACC in 2030 with a new TV deal.
Sounds like Virginia Tech. They need to find their next. Frank Beamer would be easy, but their next Matt Campbell. Somebody goes, has some success, never wants to leave. Cut my salary. You can't cut my love for the mountain.
But see, it goes back to what you were talking about Virginia Tech. Like you could say that for a lot of different schools, that even the West Coast schools, whether it was California or Stanford, because they're so good in Olympic sports, that you could say that you came across something and you watched a Cal athlete or a Stanford athlete. I can't do that with Virginia Tech.
No.
Just like I can't with Boston College.
No. That's another one.
I'll say, Matt Ryan. Who else? Exactly.
Tommy Castellanos.
Great point.
More three-man front on this Reaction Monday. We'll do some Pat Ponder's Worst Thing I've Seen later on in the program. This is Jox.
Three-man front on this Monday. Jason Caldwell talking Auburn in the first hour. Nick Kelly in the 12 o'clock hour. All of that, all portions of the show can be found there at joxfm.com. The three-man front podcast AP poll. We've continued to discuss that. Is it debuted for the college football season earlier today? Alabama comes in at number 8. No Auburn. Auburn is ranked with others and coming in 37th with others receiving votes. How about our friends at Prize Picks? If you listen to the program, you've certainly heard me talk about Prize Picks, but Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Whether it's professional football, whether it's the college ranks, you need to know which players are going off, which ones aren't. You make your picks in less than 60 seconds, turn your sports opinions into real money all season long with our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users like me and sign up today. It's really simple. Go to download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. They make it that easy. But it's not just football. It's all kinds of sports. And I'm looking tonight, and Conrad, I'm going to involve you, maybe Pat as well. Major League Baseball, professional baseball, if you will, player projections. You're your Yankees. Boy, they are sizzling hot, aren't they?
Something like that.
Runs plus hits plus runs batted in combined, 1.5 for Paul Goldschmidt.
Ooh, for Paul Goldschmidt, I would go less.
Okay. Pat, Wilson Contreras, same number. Runs, hits, runs batted in, 1.5.
More. Playing the Rockies.
We're going to do that. Both of those hit. I'm a winner. You can be a winner as well. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX. Make sure you use that promo code, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game all season long.
So over the weekend, speaking on Trials and Triumph with Freddie Stevenson, a podcast, Jimbo Fisher says he's enjoying time with his family since leaving Texas A&M, but he pointed out his track record as a head coach prior to how things ended in College Station. And he says that he still has fuel in the tank and he's ready for the next opportunity.
If the right situation comes along and it's right, I'm still 59. I'm still in great shape. I'm healthy. I've had success everywhere we've ever been. We know at the end at A&M, it's unfortunate, but we also had the highest ranked team they ever had there in 2020. That's the last one they've had at 30. Well, we play with our quarterbacks got hurt. We play with first team and third team, and not only did they not play good, it's just hard to get play calling and get guys around, and we play with a little inconsistency, and we didn't pan out like we needed to, but. The way the game is, and yes, I still do, because I still love it. I never thought it was a job, and I loved it, and I think be able to do it, I would. I mean, now I've been fortunate. I've won 72% of my games, won 80% of my playoff games, been fortunate to win a national championship as a head coach, as assistant, but so many I miss the relationships and the players. Yeah. But to ask you that, yeah, I would be very interested in still doing it, because I think I still got a lot to give, and I'd like to get back out there. I really would.
Man, I missed him. I miss these long, drawn-out answers. I've won 72% of my games, won 80% of my playoff games, and been fortunate to win a national championship as a head coach, as an assistant.
So just
let me handle it.
Well, okay, Coach. But something tells me, and I don't know this, but that he has been brushing up the resume.
Keep in mind, he's working for ESPN and the ACC network, so he's been to some television boot camps. He's done a really nice job. He took that whole year off. He didn't hear much from him. Now, all of a sudden, he's back. He's going down this Urban Meyer route. I'm going to do some games, some analyst work.
Let me handle it.
And then all of a sudden, he's going to be back on the sideline.
Well, okay, but how many of you thought that Dan Mullen would take a job like UNLV when he got out of it? And we talked about, will he ever get back in?
Fair.
We all agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, we heard UCLA. We heard.
Oh, him and Nico, that'd been fun.
No, we heard some notable jobs. I realize that UNLV is better than what they've been, but Dan Mullen is the head coach at UNLV. So I'm not saying people in this room, if you're riding around thinking that it's just something happens at West Virginia or whatever, that he would naturally be the first candidate that they call. I don't know if that's the case.
He will get an opportunity. If he really wants it, he will get an opportunity to coach again.
Sure he will.
There are only a handful of people that can say, I have won a national championship as a head coach in college football, and he's one of, 5 guys right now that could do that are still trying to coach?
Yeah. He had landed the number 1 ranked recruiting class back in 2021. He entered the season as the top-ranked team in the country. A&M struggled to a 5-7 record, missed a bowl game entirely in 2022. His last 2 seasons at A&M, he went 11-11, 6-9 in the SEC. And you heard in that clip, he was talking about quarterback being injured, whatever the case may be. So we'll see what happens. He was not the only man over the course of the last few days that has shown interest of getting back into coaching. Here is John Gruden from Barstool Sports.
The only reason I really came here is I want to coach again. I'm being honest with you. I do not either. I want to coach again. I'd die to coach in the SEC. I would love it. I would love it.
Tells it the way it is to the University of Georgia football team. The former NFL coach who resigned back in 2021 amid the controversy over offensive emails that had come to light. He has now made it clear that he wants back on the sidelines. Don't think the NFL will probably touch him, but I definitely think the college game will.
You could getting a fan base fired up. Golly.
I even think that you fire Joey McGuire at Texas Tech and plug him in with a guy like Cody, who's willing to write any kind of check for whoever, whenever.
I mean, I'm being dead serious.
Who would you rather hire at Texas Tech, Jimbo or John?
John Gruden.
John Gruden.
I think I knew the answer, but
seriously, if you are Arkansas and it goes south this year with Sam Pittman, I would have a serious conversation about that.
And you probably could get Gruden at a lower rate.
Yeah, you're not going to have to pay him $7 or $8 million a year.
You could probably go pretty light on his paycheck because he wants to get back in.
Yeah, just boost it with incentives.
And since he said he wants to coach in the SEC, all right, here's your chance. It's pretty smart of him to do that.
Absolutely. He knows what might be open in 6 months.
Yeah. So, good for him.
I'd like to see Gruden at a place, and I love Clark Lee, but a place like Vanderbilt.
I cannot imagine that personality at a place like Vanderbilt. It might work, though.
That would be worth the watch.
Now, him and Diego Pavia, I would like to see that interview. Do a QB camp like he normally does.
Oh, the back and forth across the table?
Oh, that'd be great.
Like, describe what you see here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. That would be good.
All right, we'll do some Pat Ponders. Worst thing I've seen. That's next on 3 Man Front. 1:33 on this Reaction Monday, 1-800-239-WJOX, courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Coming up, we'll do some Pat Ponders to start the week. We will also do the worst thing that Conrad has seen over the weekend.
Well, celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party. It's at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st, and the only way to go is by winning tickets. So, to win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword SCORE and your full name to 205-834-9450. Once again, the keyword SCORE and your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily, and for more information, visit joxfm.com.
He's got questions. We try to answer those questions. This is what we call Pat Ponders.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by courtesy GMC out in Trussville. The August sales event, back to school event, is going on now. Go by and see them right off of exit 32, I-459 in Trussville. Question number one, we just heard Jimbo Fisher talk about how he would love to get back in the game. So the question is, would Florida State ever consider bringing him back if Norvell were to flame out this season?
I don't think so, based on the way that relationship, I recall in talking to people close to the program, that was a very, very sour, look what you did to us. You left the cupboard absolutely bare. And I think some of the decisions, maybe while he was coaching there, personnel decisions that he made were frowned upon by certain demographics. So, no, I absolutely do not believe that they would seriously consider bringing him back.
And I agree with everything Landrum just laid out there, too. And I think on top of that, you have a Florida State program that, a lot of people's eyes should have been in a college football playoff 2 years ago. And, outside of having Jameis Winston, which kudos to him for recruiting him to Florida State and getting him there. I mean, he hasn't had any success without Jameis Winston as a head coach in college football. So I don't think you're going to take a gamble on a guy like Jimbo, when the expectation most people is you're going to win 8 games every year. That's not Florida State standard.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him back if I was Florida State. And obviously we know that he did say that he never should have left Florida State. But I think if I'm the athletic department, that program, considering how he left the place, I wouldn't take him back.
That is the general consensus. So many different areas of the program, they were not happy with Jimbo. So, not sure if they would give him that opportunity to come back. Or would he want to come back? I don't know. All right, question number 2. Jags kicker Cam Little made a 70-yard field goal this weekend versus the Steelers. Any stats in a preseason game are not recognized by the league in its official record books. So the question is, should they?
A kicking stat should be. Making a 70-yard field goal in a game, yes.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Not all stats, but I think field goals should be.
Field goals, punts. Yeah, I mean, a lot of special teams things. Because, you can't tell me that that's that much of a different environment than in a game. Now, I understand people go, well, what if it was, with 1 second left in the Super Bowl and it's a tie game and you have all the pressure on you? Okay, maybe. But you kicked a 70-yard field goal in a football game.
Right.
That should be a record.
I think it should for kicking or punting in the preseason, just because I feel like in the regular season, we'll never see something like that.
Question number 3. Who is the most likely to be the SEC's breakout star this season?
Ooh, we get anybody?
Anyone.
Ooh.
John Mateer of Oklahoma would be one quarterback. I think that, what is it? Ahmad, is it Ahmad
I was going to
Hardy?
go Ahmad Hardy at
running back,
Mizzou.
Louisiana Monroe, transferred to Missouri. He would be on there for me.
Yep.
I like Jaden Ott. Oklahoma.
It's pretty good. I will go, since they're projected to be the number 1 team, and Eric Henry brought this up when he was on with us last week, but I think when you look at the Texas team outside of Arch Manning, I think Ryan Wingo is a dude that I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year we're looking at him like a Ryan Williams, Cam Coleman, even Jeremiah Smith type, one of the very, very best a future superstar in the NFL.
All right, next question. If you saw someone shoplifting in a store, would you report them?
Yes, because I've worked in retail before where you had to deal with stuff like that, and it's such a hassle having to go through all of the corporate loopholes of reporting a theft and having, security try to go and chase them down and try to get the items back. And all of that, yes, it is such a nightmare, to such a headache having to go through that before as a retail employee. So yes,
so you and Paige are you're at Belk, and you see someone shoplifting.
Absolutely,
now,
I'm going to go
you can't say they're shoplifting until they're actually out of the store, because they could always say, "I was going to purchase this." So they walk out of the store and they have it. You immediately go to a cashier and you say, "Hey, that dude just stole something."
Yeah, and I would probably, because I guess like you said, technically it's not shoplifting until you walk out with it. I would just casually say, "Hey, I just wanted to bring this to your attention, not to make a scene, but I saw so-and-so over there just put a shirt in their purse. Maybe keep an eye on them before they walk out of the store."
Oh, so you would go that far?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I see somebody put an item in a bag or inside of a coat, I'd say, "Hey, just,
And you're going to make it a woman.
Keep an eye on that person.
That's doing the shoplifting.
Sorry, he, she,
Misogynistic
whoever.
jerk.
Disappointed.
Sorry.
Okay. Here's a question. This is a very pat question as a follow-up to that question. You see a mother.
Oh, we're doing the whole loaf of bread thing.
No formula. You doing it?
No.
I don't think I am either. And I'm actually probably going to follow her out and ask if I can help.
Okay, so back to my question.
Okay, yeah.
What do you do?
I think a form tackle right there in the middle of the parking lot. No.
I
do
get sued for hurting.
That's right.
Yes. And probably hurt yourself.
And you go to jail for assault.
Yes. It's always fun.
And then that fine store has to pay a $3 million buyout to that customer that just got tackled in their store.
Thanks to Landrum.
Yeah.
No, but I do hate a thief. I hate I would report it. Yes.
Yeah, stealing's wrong. I'd say something.
Okay.
What
All right.
about you, Pat?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say anything.
You just not my business kind of attitude?
Seen too much stuff go wrong. Like, no thanks.
Well, back to Conrad's point, now a lot of these retail stores, you get fired for even saying anything to someone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Lululemon store. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that. I mean, there's grocery stores, and you see these crazy stories across the country where somebody's trying to just help out or say, "Hey, excuse me." But
yeah,
I can see the other side of it too. You never know how desperate someone is if they're willing to walk in and.
Fair point.
Now we have an outdoor store here close.
Well, now we know that Conrad's a narc. So if you ever see Conrad's a
Conrad's
shopping
a
mall,
narc.
Thought we were calling that being a good person, but I guess not. I apologize for offending you with my morals.
All right, fifth and final question of the day. It's from BB. She asked the question, are you picky about what type or brand of writing instrument you use, such as ballpoint pen, gel pen, Sharpie, regular pencil, automatic pencil?
Yes.
G2 Pilot, baby.
G2 Pilot. Like to go with a bold. I'll go with a fine if I have to. But yeah, I love the way it writes. I like how it contours to my fingers.
Best writing utensil ever created.
In fact, if you hand me one of those, it's just the standard old...
Like the ballpoint pen?
Old Bic, where you have the cap, you take it off.
Yeah.
Some people chew on the cap, whatever, one of those. I would just choose not to write it. I would choose to type it in my phone as opposed to write with it.
And I don't know if you're the same way. My handwriting with like a G2, like this kind of pen, is significantly better than with a regular ballpoint. Like with a ballpoint pen, I have bad.
It looks like chicken scratch.
Yeah, and with this, call me John Hancock.
It makes me want to write.
Yes.
See, when I'm like on the sidelines writing something, I prefer like a finer pen. But like in a situation like today where I'm just writing notes.
Let me see it.
Well, I also have terrible handwriting.
Oh!
So, yeah, I know it's really bad.
Ooh, girl.
Do you color coordinate your notes ever? Because I know, like, and I know this is different, but like Paige has every color of the rainbow pen because she has to use different color pens for different things.
See, when I was in college, I wouldn't like switch out my pen, but I would use like red for once, like underline red if it's talking about one thing, and then blue for another, then
Gotcha.
green. But I wouldn't like totally write my notes in one color. I would just use it for like annotations, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. School's back in session. It's time to roll into the new season with a brand new vehicle from Courtesy GMC. Right now, you can get huge deals off of the Sierra 1500s, Yukon XLs. The brand new 2026 Acadias are out. Plus, every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind that lasts. Go by and see them, Courtesy GMC in Trustful, right off of I-459 exit 32, or visit them online at courtesybirmingham.com.
Conrad has seen something bad. He's going to share it with the rest of the group. The worst thing that Conrad has seen is next.
It's a little scary news over the weekend for the Landon Dickerson fans out there. He was carted off at practice, and They believe that it was going to be a major knee injury. He has a meniscus injury that's being reported in his right knee. There is no timeline to be determined, according to Adam Schefter, in regards to his return. He has been an incredible addition once he left the Alabama Crimson Tide and got into the pros for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have the fourth toughest schedule this year in the NFL to start the season. I mean, they got the Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, and Buccaneers right out of the gate. So here's to a speedy return for Landon Dickerson, a really cool guy that we got an opportunity, Landrum, to meet and interview on the show, and just a really cool guy. So
he was a hoot.
Yeah.
He got all kinds of personality, and for a guy that started his career at Florida State, came to Alabama and became a hero. And
best thing to ever come out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah. He's up there.
There's been other good things.
Yes. I-10. Teasing. There's been a lot worse things to come out of Tallahassee. Let's say that.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, are you doing the worst thing? Is it the video that I sent you last night about the two Kentucky football players?
No, it is not, Pat. Thank you.
You didn't even respond to that. That was hilarious. I absolutely, there's not a lot of things in my life that I openly laugh, but when I saw that and the whole commentary, absolutely, that was really good stuff.
It was good.
Did you not think it was funny?
No, it was. It was entertaining.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
well, you didn't respond.
I know. I apologize.
So I'm done with you. You're done. You're off the list. You don't get stuff like that anymore.
Now it's just down to Molly because Landrum's taking himself off the list. Now I've been kicked off the list.
I don't send stuff to her. I don't send stuff to him because they're all I almost said.
He's always
something.
getting people in trouble.
Nothing.
That's it.
Okay.
No, it's all right.
Well, you know better than to send me some stuff.
Well, no, there's stuff that this is just pure comedy.
Yeah, there's no ankles being snapped
Okay,
or
good.
anything.
No,
like
this
that.
is just
No.
this is
Don't make
absolute.
me block your number
But
again.
we are getting to that time of year again.
And the
Molly.
reason I said
Does
that
this
is
involve
because
amputation?
it just showed up in my
No.
timeline.
Oh, did it really?
Oh yeah, and I was like, oh, Conrad never mentioned that. So if you'd like to be on the
I'm sorry, Pat.
the Pat Smith mailing list of funny videos, just
be
text
careful
into
where
the show.
you open those.
Yes, be careful where you open those.
But so yeah, Conrad just completely ignored me. So that's fine.
I'm sorry, Pat. I was busy studying up for the worst thing that I have.
And just know when you click on something that he sends you, your algorithm could pick it up and it could show up somewhere on your timeline in an inopportune time, and you have to explain it away. Just saying that for a friend.
Bunch of fuddy-duddies, man. Y'all don't like fun.
No, I'm a narc. What are you talking about, Pat?
You're a narc and you're not funny because you didn't like my video.
That's right.
Narc. A guy who's got con in his name.
Writing's on the wall, everybody. Come on.
Speaking of Conrad, he has seen something bad. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy. The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
All right. Well, for the worst thing that I've seen today, we're going to head down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to the campus of LSU and the LSU football team in particular. I'm sure some of you, and this is a very serious situation. Of course, all of this is alleged. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but this is a pretty serious situation that seems to have transpired in Baton Rouge over the weekend. So back on Friday, LSU freshman running back J.T. Lindsey surrendered to campus police after a warrant had been issued for his arrest on 2 felony counts of accessory after the fact to second-degree murder. So this stems from an accusation that he allowed 2 teenagers who were wanted on murder charges, one being 17-year-old Shamel Jacobs and the other 18-year-old Keldrick Jordan, and allowed them to stay in his LSU dorm room earlier this year. So the 2 teenagers were arrested on Monday inside of the Nicholson Gateway dorms by U.S. Marshal Services, according to The report from CBS, it says the two suspects allegedly stayed in LSU running back JT Lindsey's on-campus apartment for nearly 2 weeks. Officials say they found multiple...
Hold on, timeout.
For 2 weeks.
Stayed in their dorm for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
Officials say that after searching the unit, they found multiple firearms, including 2 AR-15 rifles, a Glock, and a Draco, which is a AK semi-automatic style pistol, for anybody that's not familiar there.
So just a little BB gun.
Maybe a little more than that. But the two teenagers were wanted in connection with the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old in Alexandria, Louisiana back in May. And it reports in the story that the two suspects, as well as JT Lindsey, are both from that area. So according to Chris Parrott, JT Lindsey's attorney, he reports that Lindsey was unaware that Jacobs and Jordan were wanted by police when he allowed them to stay at his dorm and denied any involvement in the crime. However, an arrest warrant alleges that Lindsey knew the suspects were wanted, citing an interview with one of his associates. According to a spokesperson from LSU, the team is aware of the situation but has declined further comment out of respect for the legal process, and JT Lindsey has been suspended from football activities pending the resolution of the investigation. So that's the latest from Baton Rouge, but certainly not a good situation there when you have allegedly a member of the LSU football team harboring
For 2
people
weeks.
that are wanted for murder. Yes, Pat, for 2 weeks, along with multiple firearms. Not a good situation.
So you knew that they were wanted. You just didn't know what they were wanted for. And they're going to stay there for 2 weeks.
Again, innocent until proven guilty, but what'd you talk about for 2 weeks?
I think it's frowned upon by the university as well as to let people that's not students at the university come live in your dorm.
You are not supposed to do that.
Maybe just thought they had shoplifted. Allegedly.
Very glad they didn't know Conrad. Conrad turned them in.
Yeah, you know what? Safe to say in that situation, I think I would have.
Good for you, Conrad.
Well, if you saw him with the AK-47s.
Thanks for joining us today. Big show coming up on Tuesday Live from Social Taco. God is great. Have a great rest of your Monday.